I, Alagie Kebbeh,
I, Alagie Kebbeh,
do swear that
do swear
I will speak the truth,
I will speak the truth,
the whole truth,
and
nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
Help me God. Thank you. No problem.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning to you, Mr. Witness. As you know, my name is Mariama Singate, and I'll be questioning you on behalf of the Commission. Sorry. Mr. Chairman, the witness has a little bit of ear issues, so he will need the earpiece in order to hear clearly. Mr. Kebbeh, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I'm hearing you clearly.
Can you hear yourself when you listen, like twice?
I'm not getting you.
You hear yourself twice when you listen through the earpiece?
No.
It's okay.
It's okay, yeah.
As you know, Mr. Witness, my name is Mariama Singate, and I will be questioning you on behalf of the Commission today. Just to go over a few rules before we start, there is simultaneous interpretation going on, so I request that you speak into the mic and you speak slowly so that the interpreters will pick on what you say, and I will do the same as well. The issues I would like to discuss with you today, first is your background, then we move to your career progression in the Army. We'll briefly touch on 22nd July 1994.
Yeah.
Then we move on to incidents of November 10 and 11.
Yeah.
And then we'll finally deal with your personal ordeal and victimization. And then we'll discuss the impact that your ordeals has on you and your family.
Yeah.
Can you please tell us your names?
My name is Alagie Kebbeh.
When and where were you born?
I was born in the heart of Banjul, 47 Gloucester Street.
When?
1957.
Where did you receive your primary and secondary education?
I received my primary school at Kampama Primary. Later to St. Augustine Roman School, but not completed. After I went to the Vocational Training Center, technical school in those days.
When did you finish your secondary education?
I cannot really remember, but I think it's around 78, 79, something like that.
And when did you enroll in the vocational training school?
That's 79, yes, I enrolled there in that 79.
What course did you study at the vocational training school?
I did carpentry and joinery.
For how long did your study last?
It lasted for 3 years.
After graduating from your vocational training school, what did you do?
Then I joined the Gambia Ports Authority. At the time, at the dockyard as a carpenter. I was there till 1983. Then I decided to took voluntary retirement. From there, I opened my workshop on my own. Up to 1989, that's the time I enlisted in the Gambia National Army.
And what intake was that?
Intake 12.
After the completion of your training in the Army, what rank were you given?
I was a private soldier.
Can you please give us your career progression up to 94?
Okay, after our training, we trained for 6 months. After the training, I was posted to Farafeni on the B Company, where I spent 1 month, 15 days, because it was the end of the term of the company. They were supposed to come back to Yundum Barracks. So we came back to Yundum Barracks. From there, I was transferred to Eco Company and posted to Birkama. I was in Birkama for some time. That I was selected to go on a cadre course at Parafene, where I spent 2 weeks. From there, I came back to Birkama. After some time, the British training team came on a visit to that camp. At that time, it was the British training team who were responsible for the training of the army. So, Koneso came there, and at the time, Captain Laikonde was our company commander. So the camp was located just beside the hospital, between the hospital and the Birkama market. So he asked our commander, in case of attack, what are you going to do here? So our commander responded that I'm going to hold on my barracks, try and secure the hospital because of the sick people there. So then he said, in case of the enemy happens to fire on you, what are you going to do? He said, I cannot return fire because I'm in the midst of the civilians. So he said, then this place is not a camp. So we are closing this camp today. You people are going back to barracks. That's how I went back to Yundum. So when I went to Yundum, a little time after I applied for my vocation, they give me 3 weeks. So when I come back, just entering the camp, people started complimenting me. To my surprise, I was promoted to Lance Corporal in my absence. So when I returned back to work 2 days after, I was decorated by Lieutenant Fraser Juve at the time, who was a company commander. He was a platoon commander in my company at the time. Then later, I was transferred to the ration store as 2IC, responsible of feeding the army at the time. I was working with one couple Gassama, who was my boss, but he was about to finish his contract. So later he was asked to hand over the office to me, and he went on retirement. So I was there for a period of time. Then I was transferred to the Quartermaster's office, that is the Kebbeh, where I work with late Captain Musa Falai Balde. So that's where I was up to 1994, 22nd July.
You said when you went to Yundum Barracks, you were in a unit that was responsible for feeding the army.
Yeah, that's so.
Can you briefly explain how your unit was at that time?
No, it was a bit better compared to the time when the Nigerians came. Because at the time, things were at least better because we used to have supplies from yams, livestock, and these local vendors who used to supply us these perishable goods, these perishable items for the condiments that we used to cook for the soldiers. It was a bit better. There was a friend of mine who is late now. He was the fish supplier. He used to bring very good fish for the army at the time.
Do you recall what year you were promoted to Lance Corporal?
I think it was 1990, if I'm not wrong.
Do you also recall the year that you were at the unit that was responsible for feeding?
Yeah. It was the same 90 I was taken there.
Now, in July 22nd, 1994, were you still at Union Barracks?
Yes, I was there.
Can you tell us about that day?
Okay. Day before, there was a guard of honor. I think the president was supposed to come back home. Okay, I was not in camp because I was not part of the guard of honor. I went to Serekunda with my wife, who is late now. So we were there till around after 6 to 7. Then we decided to come back to the camp. But we have transport difficulties because at that time everybody was rushing home. As we were standing on the side of the road, I saw the military truck from airport going to Westfield with full of soldiers on ceremonial. So it was a tradition. After guard of honor, the trucks will transport men up to Westfield and drop them there, so everybody finds their way home. So after dropping those soldiers, the truck was going back. I stopped at the driver. He recognized me and stopped. Said, "You heading to the camp?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Okay, you can take us along because we don't have transport." That's why we get into the car, into the truck, sorry. The driver was one Demo Jiva. Then he just told me, "Sir, do you know what happened?" I said, "No." He said, "At the airport, these people, they wanted to stage a coup." I said, "Which people?" He said, "Yahya Jammeh and others." But they were disarmed. I went on my truck. I see the president bought his vehicle and was going. I give him a salute and get down inside my truck. So I said, "Okay, is that true?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Okay." Then we went, he drove us to the barracks. We went to our house. By the time, I was staying with my wife at Bahamas. That's the residence of the soldiers. So the following morning, early morning, we were woken up by gunshots. That is one Musa Mane, who was the MTO at the camp there. He was responsible of dispensing the vehicles. We allocate drivers vehicles. If you have mission, you go to him. Then he will assign a driver and a truck for you to go and do your mission, whatever. It depends on the type of mission you want to go on. So I understand these soldiers, they went to see this man, they don't see him, they start shooting at his windows. That's the time we woke up. We all rushed to the camp. We met Yahya Jammeh, Edward Singate, and a group of soldiers scattering weapons all over. So when you come, they will just ask you, "Are you interested in what we are going to do?" If you said yes, they said, "Arm yourself." No to the cells. So I came to understand that some even senior officers were put into that cell at the time. I reached that area together with the late Samuel Jose. So he was asked to join them, but he refused. To be quite honest with you, he refused to do it. They marched him up to the cells inside the guard room, but before reaching the cells, I don't know how they convinced him, he decided to. That's how he was armed and stay with us there. After, it was a problem to have transport to go out, because this Musamani, I'm telling you, was nowhere to be seen. And he was the one who was responsible of this vehicle piece. So some of the...
I'm really sorry for cutting you, Mr. Kebbeh. I'd just like to clarify a few issues before we move on to the story, so that we can get a clear detail of your narrative.
No problem.
Now, the day before you are talking about, is it the 21st of July 1994?
Yeah, it's the 21st.
And the day after you're referring to, is it the 22nd July 1994?
Yeah.
Now, on that day, you mentioned that you woke up. Were you residing at the camp then?
Yeah, I was residing at the camp.
At what time of the day was that?
It was early morning, around 7 o'clock, after 7.
And Musa you were talking about, the one that you said had the keys to the armory. What was his rank?
It's not the armory.
The vehicles, sorry.
Yes.
Thank you for rectifying me.
No
the
problem.
Vehicles.
Yes.
What was his rank then?
He was a sergeant at the time.
Where was his office located at that time?
No, we have the engineering area. That's where they park their vehicles. But he was residing with us at Bahamas there. Yeah.
So you mentioned that they broke into his house. Was the house close to yours? What was the proximity of his house to yours?
I'm not getting you. Can you?
Proximity of his house to yours. Was it close to your house?
Yes, it was in the same line. We are not far from each other. But from the camp going to our residence, you pass his house first before reaching mine.
You also mentioned that you saw Yaya Jammeh and Edward Singate that morning.
Yeah.
Did you know them prior to that day?
Of course, yes. We are all in the same camp. I senior Edward as far as service is concerned. It's not that he was commissioned after when he came, but he met me in the army. Yaya Jammeh was brought to the army in 1992 when they were amalgamating the Gendarmerie and the police. So he was brought in as military police commander. So that's how we get used to each other.
You also mentioned that they were asking the men to either join them or be locked up. Can you recall how many people they asked to either join them or be locked up?
All soldiers, anybody who came at that time, because it was in the morning, soldiers are supposed to come to work. You see, so anybody who comes, they just told what they are, if you accept, you join them. If you don't, they put you in the cells.
As at that time, you were still attached to the Quartermaster's office, right?
Yes, it was my office.
What was the responsibility of the Quartermaster's office?
Okay, the QM is the Quartermaster's office. That's where the Quartermaster for the 1 battalion is where we kept uniforms from head to toe, headdress, shoes, officers' swords, their ceremonial swords, their belts, ceremonial uniforms for the men and officers too. So we are responsible for that. We have one book, it's called the kid book. In the army, we call it 1157. All soldiers know it. So we issue all kids on that book. So we account for everything that we give you inside that book. So anything that wants out, you can come, we change it. If it's necessary to change, we change it. If not, we ask you to go with it. Then at the end of your service, you will be account for all those things. Anything that's missing, then the administration will give you to your pay before you go.
Can you please proceed from where you stopped? You mentioned that when you met them, you were asked to either join or be locked up as well.
Yeah.
So what happened afterwards?
So we had to join them as soldiers at the time. So then after, it was a problem to go out from the barracks because there was no transport. Some of the boys happened to jump over the fence, snatch vehicles from people who were going on about their business. So we decided to use those vehicles to go to Banjul. So most of these soldiers, they don't know how to drive. So I was the one driving the pickup where Edward was sitting. Edward Singati was sitting next to me. On my back, one boy, Demba Balde. That's how we went to Banjul. Until we reached the bridge, that's where we met. This TSG have already blocked the bridge and said nobody is going. So upon arrival, a little time, Jame and crew arrived too. So they were under negotiation. Civilians were going about their business. They just stopped them, don't allow them to cross the bridge. So that place was full of civilians. So we decided to move the civilians from the scene because both sides are having weapons. Anything can happen. And in the midst of that civilian, it can create a problem. So we decided to ask the civilian people to retreat. I can fully remember that day, the Honorable O.J. Jallo, I don't know, his mother or his stepmother passed away. So they were supposed to go to Banjul to bring that corpse for burial. So, you know, at that time, those people there were very popular. So people were so many at the bridge there. So we decided to retreat the civilians from the area, the danger zone. So upon doing that, you know, civilians, most of them, they are strong-headed. We asked them to go back, they will say yes. The next you turn, they turn behind you. So that's how we are pushing and pulling with them until we reach that first factory, Kendaka. That's where we pinned them, we decided to come back. So before coming, by the time we meet, these people have already negotiated their way, and they moved to Banjul. So that's how we followed them, because there was no vehicle at the time. We decided to walk up to Banjul. Before reaching the State House, they have already get inside the State House. So I went in there, I went straight to the open area where I met Sana Sawali. He said, Couple Kebbeh, you are here? I said, yes. He said, okay, wait for me, I'm coming. I stood there for a couple of minutes. Then he came and said, Couple Kebbeh, I am supposed to go to Kanifing. I said, all right, sir, no problem. He brought me inside one car. We go to Kanifing, the next station at Kanifing. So that's where he addressed those people and said that they understand that people are about to create sabotage by shutting the pumps and offing the lights. So he told them, this man is coming to work with you here. If he happens to see any sabotage, you just teach them, as the military says, this man cannot talk. It's the barrel of the gun that will talk. So be very careful. So that's where he left me. I was there the whole day. I even spent the night there with them. The day after, I wanted to go and see my mother. It was just...
As at that time, did Sana Sabali explain the reason why you are there?
Yes, he just explained to them that they are suspecting sabotage. So they don't want, you know, it's a coup d'etat. So if there is no water, there is no electricity, the outcry will be more. So that is what he was trying to prevent.
In a sense, did he put you as in charge of those people that were there?
Yes, he just told them that this man coming to be with you. So any sabotage, he is not going to talk. It's the barrel of the weapon that is going to talk. So I was there with them. There was no problem. Till the following day, I wanted to go and see my mom. I said, do you have any vehicle here? They said, we don't have vehicle here. Only this mobile vehicle that we have. It's a pickup covered at the back with their electrical gadgets, wires and everything in there. So I decided to use it just to go and see my mom. So when I reached Jefffield, I met up with Sabali there. So I stopped. He said, Kebbeh, where are you going with this? I said, sir, I just want to go and see my mom. But these people, they don't have vehicle. He said, okay, there was 1-4 runner coming, soldiers were using it. He just stopped them, these two 4 runner, and said, get down, all of you, they get down. He said, Kebbeh, you can use this vehicle. Go and tell your guys to come and collect this mobile pickup. That's how I went back, tell them to come and collect their pickup. Then I went and see my mom. This is how she is, and to assure him that there's nothing wrong with me, or to assure her, sorry, that there's nothing wrong with me. So I went back on my duties.
For how long did you remain in that duty?
I think we were there about almost 3 weeks. Then.
Were you reporting directly to Sana Sabali while you were there?
Not necessarily. I think if I saw Sana Sabali just a few times after that, you see, because there was no problem. And, you know, I built a very cordial relation with those people at the time. Started buying attire, brewing attire there, you see. So everything went fine. There was no problem.
At the time you were sent to Nawek to guard the place.
It was MSG at the time.
Sorry?
It was MSG at the time.
Thank you for rectifying me, MSG.
Yeah.
At the time you were sent there to guard the place, was the council formed at that time?
Yes. Yeah, no. It wasn't, because it was just, I could say 1 to 2 hours after the takeover, after we take over the State House. It was a little time. By that time, they have not even started discussing themselves. I don't know where Sana get that information, that there are people are supposed to sabotage. So that's how he just picked me and took me there. Then I think after that time, that's the time they do their meeting and started selecting themselves as council members and whatnot.
Apart from Sana, did you have this discussion with any of the council members?
No. It's only in the evening, if I'm not. Yes, only in the evening. That day in the evening. Yes, I met up with this man. Sorry, Edward Singati. I met up with Edward. He was passing. I was just going outside. So stop and say, Kebbeh, you are here. I said yes. Okay. He's the only person I met after that time.
So after 3 weeks of being at MSG, what happened next for you?
Then we were asked to stand down and report back to UNU. So when this happened, I went back to UNU and went back to my office as the Quartermaster still.
As at this time, who was your overall boss?
Okay, you know, Captain Balde was my boss. Sorry, Captain Balde was my boss, but he was later promoted and appointed as commissioner of, I don't know, Upper River Region, I don't know. So he left me in the office there alone.
Who was the commander of Yundum Barracks at that time?
At that time, I think it was Marong. No, sorry, because the first days, this man was the commander, Barrow, and later Barrow was out, then this man was in Marong.
Give us the first name and rank.
Lieutenant Basiru Barrow. Lieutenant Basiru Barrow. For Marong, I forgot his name because he was a TSG personnel, not GNA. You see.
What was his rank?
He was lieutenant too.
So what happened thereafter?
Then after job carry on, we were working. So there was no problem at the time.
What was the mood of the soldiers in the camp after the July 22nd takeover?
No, it was normal. It was normal because, okay, we were governed by people before, that's the civilians. now it's the military that take over. So obviously there was no problem. The expectations were high, but other than that, nothing else. We are working fine.
Was there any significant change at the camp after July 22nd takeover?
No, there was no change. There was no change. It was the same routine.
For how long did you remain at the Yundum barracks?
I was there all the time until this 11 November incident.
Let me take you back to November 10th. Were you at the camp that day?
Yes, I was at the camp.
Can you tell us about that day?
Yes, I was in my office doing my normal routine until around approximately after 2 to 3. That's the time we had a roll call that the RSM said let us all fall into the open area. That's the flag post there. So one of my boys who were working with me, I think it was Yuf or Job, one of them, came and said, "Sir, the RSM said we all fall into the flag post."
Who was the RSM?
RSM Sanyang was the acting RSM at the time.
Can you please give us his first name?
Babukar Sanyang.
So what happened after the RSM has asked you to fall in?
Then everybody went. That's the time we saw the council members coming. So when they came, they come out from their vehicles. The RSM bring the men to attention, hand over them to the council. Then they start telling us that there is a rumor that they heard about some people who wanted to overthrow their regime. It was first announced by Sana Savali, and he said anybody who is ventured to participate in that will be dealt with accordingly. It was Singate did the same comments. Sadibu Haidara. Edward went to the extent of even firing 3 shots on the air to demonstrate how they are going to treat anybody who ventured to overthrow their regime. So it was a quiet moment for soldiers, because as our superiors stand in front of us lamenting those type of things, you cannot say anything to them. So we were there, they say all what they wanted to say, and the RSM seek permission from them to fall out the men. They said, okay.
Can you recall what time of the day that was?
It's supposed to be around after 2, 3, running towards 4 o'clock.
When you said council, who were you referring to?
The council members then at the time, you have Sana Sawali, Edward Singate, Yankuba Ture, Sadibu Haidara.
Were they all present for that meeting?
Yeah, for Yankuba, I don't see him, to be quite honest with you. I don't see him, to be quite honest with you. But other than him, all those people, including Babukar Jata, Mudu Baji, those senior men, they were all there.
Aside from those that came into the camp, what of the other officers that were in the camp? Were they also present at that meeting?
They were present. My commanding officer at the time, Lieutenant Dawo, was there. Lieutenant Buba Jame.
Can you please provide the first names as well as their ranks?
Those people are Sanamuri personnel. That's why most of them I don't know their names, to be quite honest with you. But I know Lieutenant Dabo was my immediate boss at the time, because the time they came, he was brought in at the Quartermaster's office just to supervise me. You see, just for a common purpose, because all the job was done by me. You see, so Nyanju, because after the takeover, all those sergeants, they were giving sub-lieutenant ranks. It's only C who was giving full lieutenant, two stars. So we were all there. All those officers were there.
Was Say also present at that meeting?
He was there, of course, yes, he was there.
And what's his first name, please?
Jibril Say. Jose, I'm used to him because we are almost the same area. You see? So
The Nyancho you were referring to?
yes,
What was his name?
yeah, I think it was Bakari Mane or Buwa Mane, I don't know. But
What was his rank?
he was lieutenant at the time. They were all giving sub lieutenant rank at the time, 1 star.
How long did that meeting last?
Approximately 45 minutes to 1 hour. It was a one-sided meeting. It's only the council who talk and everybody dispersed. So
Can you recall the number of soldiers present at that meeting apart from the council members?
no, I'm not getting you.
Can you recall the number of soldiers that were present at that meeting?
So that's why I mean, you're talking of your camp, Yundum barracks. Many soldiers were there. You see? And when they blew the bugle, say falling, no soldiers will stay behind. Even cooks, they will leave the cookhouse and come, just to know what is happening.
After that said meeting, what was the mood of the soldiers like?
No way. All right, let me just clarify one thing. My office was not in the midst of the camp. You see? So any time such a thing happened, if I'm finished from there, I'm just back to my office as the quartermaster. So I don't mingle the men because most of the men are in the companies, that's the infantry companies, you understand? We are more admin than infantry. You see? So how soldiers were, how the mood of soldiers were at that time, definitely I cannot tell much.
What of you personally, when you attended that meeting and you heard the warnings like you mentioned
Right.
from the council members, what went through your mind then?
No, I cannot understand because it's just a surprise to me. And I have never had anything like that to any soldier also. So definitely when they just came and said they had rumor mongering, people are about to overthrow their regime, it was a big surprise on my side. Anyway, you see.
You mentioned that after the meeting you went back to your
I went back to my office.
office.
Yes.
What happened afterwards?
You know, there was supposed to be a dress rehearsal the following day. And all the backups are from my office. I issue officers ceremonial shorts, their belts, and any other requirements that they need. So I went there until closing time. I decided to close my office and pass to my boss, Lieutenant Davo, who was assigned as the commander at the time. So I told him, sir, I'm going home. He said, I said, pass to RSM, let him brief you. So I went to RSM Sanyang's house at the time. I said, RSM, sir, message from my boss, Lieutenant Davo. He said, let you brief me. He said he doesn't know what to tell me. That was the response he gave me. So I said, okay. I decided to continue and go home.
At what time of the day did you go to RSM Sanyang?
It was a little to 4 after 4, something like that. 4 after 4.
And what was the dress rehearsal supposed to be for?
It was for the Remembrance Day.
When was the Remembrance Day scheduled to take place?
It was supposed to take place Sunday, the 13th.
What happened after you went to RSM Sanyang's office?
So, not in his office, at his residence. That's where I passed. He was staying at the Bahamas there too. So I told him, anyway, from my boss, he said, let you brief me. He said he doesn't know what to tell me. I said, okay. Then I move and go straight to my house.
Afterwards, when you went straight to your house, what did you do next?
After taking my lunch, I stayed there till 5 o'clock. I do my 5 o'clock prayers, then perform my supplementary prayers. From there, I decided to dress up and go to my second wife. At the time, I was having 3 wives.
Where was your second wife residing then?
At Latrikunda.
How about your first wife?
She was in Banjul, in our family compound.
So what happened?
So then, as I was preparing to go, one Sergeant Jata from Ban, is a member of the army band, a brother to the then army commander at the time, Babukar Jata. He came to my house. He met me outside. I was even wiping my shoes. He said, Kopul Kebbeh? I said, yes, sir. He said, you people are supposed to take over guard from the guard platoon. I said, sir, why? He said, these people are supposed to go on dress rehearsals tomorrow. So you people are going to take over guard and that's the guard list. So I said, what time are we taking over? He said, you're taking over 11 o'clock or first thing in the morning. That is 11 p.m. or first thing in the morning. I said, okay, sir, no problem. So at that time, there was a small joke between me and my late wife. He started saying, okay, today there is no going to Latrikunda, you are staying here. Then from there, I waited up to around 10:30 to 11. I started preparing myself. I dressed up, take that guard list he gave me, my weapon. Then I decided to head to the camp. So when I went out from my house, I met up with Basiru Kamara. He was a sergeant at the time. He too was part of that guard list that we were supposed to take over from the boys. You know, we used to have reinforcement from admin, the engineers, and the mechanics, even from cookhouse when we are sort of men. So at that time, men were not that much because of the areas of responsibilities were too much. So they asked the headquarter company to take over for the platoon that is on guard so that they can perform the dress rehearsals preparing for the Remembrance Day. So I was given that list by Sergeant Jata.
Sergeant Jata, can you recall his first name?
To be quite honest, I forget his first name, but he's a brother to Babukar Jata, the then army commander at that time, and I think he's still serving at the bar.
Apart from you on that list, who else was on that list? Can you recall the names of the people that were on that list and on guard?
I was used to Basiru Kamara because we are not far from each other. Sorry. He was in the list. But others, you know, they select people from engineering, squadron, cookhouse, the mechanics. So we are not used to those people. It's just from time to time, when we met up on guard duties, that's the time we know each other.
Around what time did Sergeant Jata give you that list?
That was after 5 to 6.
Did you eventually meet with the people that you were supposed to be on guard with that day?
No, only when I was going out, I met up with Basiru Kamara. He said, are you part of the guard? I said, yes, that's the guard list. I'm part of it, so I'm going to the camp. He said, me too, I'm going. Then we started to move. There is a shop just after, there is a feeder road between our residence and the main camp. So just after that feeder road, there is a shop at the end. So he stopped at the shop and was trying to buy something there. I don't know. Then I continue on my way.
Around what time was that?
That was around to 11 or a little after 11.
What happened afterwards?
Pardon?
What happened afterwards?
Then I went on my way. Upon entering the bar gate of the camp, which is just next to the officers' mess, that's where I met up with Edward Singante, Lieutenant Edward Singante. He called my name, Kopul Kebbeh. I said, sir, he said, what are you people on? I said, sir, what? He said, where is your weapon? I said, that's my weapon here. He said, give it to me. I give him my weapon. Then he left me and started to go. I heard him saying to other soldiers, if you don't mind, we'll start shooting on you people. So,
Sorry, can you repeat that?
pardon?
Repeat what he said.
He said, you people, if you don't mind, we'll start shooting on you people. So that's the time I've already sorted my weapon to him. And I heard him mentioning that if you don't mind, we'll start shooting on you people. I said, let me just go back home now. So I decided to retreat and go to Bahamas, where I stay.
Did you observe anything unusual that night?
The camp was totally dark. It was totally dark. It's just I met up with him just at the beginning of the when entering the camp. You see, it was a big dark. I don't see anybody. It's only him I met, and that is what transpired between me and him. He said, Kebbeh, what are people on? I said, nothing. He said, where is your weapon? I said, that's it. He said, give me your weapon. I just handed him over my weapon because I was not on anything. I was supposed to go on duties. He took my weapon. I decided to retreat. So
we have listened to the evidence of RSM Sanyang, now Lieutenant Colonel Sanyang.
Sanyang, yes.
He mentioned in his evidence that you mentioned that you went to his house.
Yes.
And told him that you and others have decided to remove the council from power, and that you are ready to do that now, and that he should line up men and prepare for it. What do you have to say about that evidence?
I think this is the Quran I sworn in. Between me and the Almighty God that I respect. That never transpired between me and Babukar Sanyang. I went to Babukar Sanyang immediately after I closed my office and passed through my boss. He said, let me go to Babukar Sanyang, let him brief me. I went to him, I told him the message. He said he doesn't know what to tell me. That's the time I last see Babukar Sanyang. I never went to Babukar Sanyang's house telling him to, the men are ready, let him tell the men to come out. Who am I, a mere lance couple, to talk to a senior officer like that? And I'm not that type of person. I wish you go to the army and ask who Couple Kebbeh was. I'm not praising myself, but I can tell you I was one of the most disciplined soldiers in that army. In a sense, I'm an elderly somebody. I joined the army at not my youth age. I went there as an engineer. It's just because of the training I had, they feel are more important in the infantry than being in the engineering squadron. That's why that's how I was posted to be a company. You see? So for me going to Babukar Sanyang, telling him that the men are ready, let him fall in the men, everybody is ready, that's not true. To be quite honest with you. That never transpired between me and Babukar Sanyang. Only what I tell you, and that was in the afternoon. I never saw Babukar Sanyang during that night.
Were you the only Couple Kebbeh at that time in the army?
There are 3 Couple Kebbehs in the army, as far as I know. I am Couple Kebbeh, Couple Alagie Kebbeh, 10877. The other Couple Kebbeh is Couple Amadou Kebbeh, 10878. He is my class. We joined the service the same day. The other one is an engineer. So if Babukar Sanyang said that I went to him and tell him that let him fall in the men, that's not true.
Can you please give us the name of the third Couple Kebbeh?
No, I don't know his name. He's an engineer, but I know him as Couple Kebbeh.
Do you know where he was stationed at that time?
At that time, he was at Farafeni, if I'm not wrong.
So after you were told by Edward to hand over your weapon, what did you do?
I decided to go back home.
Where was home for you?
That's at Bahamas, where I'm staying with my family. So when I walk up to very little to reach my house, I heard gunshots inside the camp. So Bahamas everybody started opening their doors, moving out their families, because we are staying there with our families. That's how I went and knocked my wife. He opened the door. I said, have you heard what is going on? He said, yes. Gee, what is the problem? I said, I don't know. Anyway, people are moving out. Let's try and move out. He said, where are we going? Birkama is far, because she is from Birkama, their family compound. I told her, no, we cannot go to Birkama now. Let's move to my in-laws' place. That is Papate. He's a brother to him, to her, sorry. He's staying at Banjurinding. I said, Banjurinding is more settled, so let's try and go to Banjurinding. That's how we went, me, she and her and our mate. So we walked through the back way to go to Banjurinding. I met up with one soldier when I was going with my family by the name Abajiba. He was a soldier at the time, but I last saw him, I think, at that time. You see, I don't know whether he's serving still or he have left the army. But we met up at Banjurinding because he was staying at Banjurinding. So when I took my family to my in-laws' place, Papate, so I explained what happened. So I decided to leave my family there and go back. He said, no. You said there is a problem in the camp. Your weapon is not with you. They've taken it. You had shots to bring your family here and you want to go back. It's not safe. Spend the night here till tomorrow.
The shots that you said you heard when you were going back to your home,
yes,
was it like a single shot or like sporadic shots that you heard?
It was single shot, but it was more than 3.
Can you recall from which side of the camp the shots were coming from?
No, it was the main camp, Yunum Barracks there.
So what happened after you went to your in-laws' house and you were asked to stay?
So I stayed there in the morning, early hours of the morning, around after 7 to 8. We had that announcement from Sana Savali that there was a coup attempt. Some of the soldiers lost their life. So I decided to wait till Monday to know what is happening completely so that I can return back to the camp.
That particular night, you were supposed to be on guard duty, right?
Yes.
And you had shots.
Yes.
And you decided to evacuate your family to your in-laws' home.
Yeah, it's not me alone, the whole Bahamas. All who were there with their families, they decided to evacuate and take their families. We are soldiers, we know the consequence of this thing, bullets, so, and we know the weapon that we are using. You see, AK-47 is a very dangerous weapon, so you cannot leave your family in that midst. That's why everybody decided to take your family away.
Well, after you went to your in-laws' house, they urged you to stay because you were not sure what was going on in the camp.
Yeah.
Now, you had over the radio,
Yes.
you had an announcement saying that, Sana Sabali saying that there was a fight and some men died.
Yes.
So what did you do afterwards?
I decided to stay till Monday to know exactly what is happening, so that the dust will be cleared and I'll know where to stand. So I was there till Sunday around after 5. I don't know whether they told somebody gave them tip-off that I am staying with my in-law, or maybe the boy I met before that night. But they have the information that I'm in my in-law's house, because I can fully remember that day around 3 o'clock I went to see a brother of mine, that is CJ, who is staying at Banjurinding. He is now in the UK. So from there I went back. Then I performed my ablution, pray 5 o'clock prayers. Upon doing my supplementary prayers, that I have the sound, Kapun Kebbeh, come out, Kapun Kebbeh, come out. So before getting out of the house, there is one civilian who came in. I don't know whether he came from these people who were shouting. So he just said, your people are here. So I walked out. I saw Sergeant Fati, Lamin Fati, Bach Samba Jaro, Lance Corporal Jame Kanilai. I don't know the first name, whether it's Buba or Bakari, I don't know. But we used to call him Kanilai because it's a relative Jame.
Does the name Musa Jame ring a bell?
No, not Musa Jame. Not Musa
Jame?
It's not Musa Jame. I think it's Buba. But we used to call him locally Kanilai in the camp at the time. He was a Lance Corporal. So they came with a small car. The one Peter or Edward was driving, those small Toyotas. So they said, I'm on arrest. I said, what? He said, we are here just to arrest you. I said, okay. I wanted to board the vehicle. They said, no. They opened the boot and said, get inside. So I get inside the boot. I was squeezed there, a very small boot, and they locked the boot. And
where was your family at this point?
my wife was standing right in front of the scene. Even Sergeant, that party, tell her that, sister, this man is just your husband. You can get another husband tomorrow. In a sense, they're going to kill me. I don't know. You see? But he uttered that word to my wife.
Were they armed?
They, of course, yes. All of them were with AK-47.
What time of the day was this?
It was a little after 5, going towards 6.
Were you restrained before asked to enter the boot?
Where, can you repeat that?
Were you restrained in any way before asked to enter the boot?
No. They don't do anything to me. They just asked me to get inside the boot. So I squeezed myself in there, and they locked it.
How big was the boot of that car?
It was terrible. It was terrible. Very small size. And grown up somebody like me, squeezing himself inside that small car, the boot. It was terrible. And they locked it after. It was more terrible than even what you can say, because even animals, you don't lock them inside those boots. Much more a human being.
So what happened after they locked the boot?
I'm in another world, because I don't know what is going on. From time to time, I was just realizing we could move. Sometimes I realized it stopped. That's how I was. It was a long time. All of a sudden, I learned the vehicle stopped. That stop was quite, at least a little time, ranging from 15 to 20 minutes, but I was still inside the boot. Then they opened. I look at them, they look at me, they said, Kebbeh, come down. So,
can you estimate how long you were in that boot before it stopped?
It was a long time. The estimation was the time I was entering the guard room. That's the time I raised my head and said, and the clock was 10 minutes to 10. So it was almost 5 hours I was in that.
You were arrested around 3 p.m., right?
No, around a little after 5. Yeah.
So a little after 5, from 10, that's about 5 hours.
Something like
you
that.
spent 5 hours in the boot.
Yeah.
What was the distance between where you were to the guard room that they took you to?
No, Banjuling and Yunum camp. It's just a small walk. Much more a car. They were going around with me, I don't know. Because I just realized the vehicle move. Sometimes it stops for a long time, they move again. That's how it was, because that place was very dark, you don't have anything to say. Even to breathe was my problem. I was sweating like somebody they are pouring water on him. See, I think if it would have happened for them to exit that time, maybe they will just find me dead. They threw me and find their way. But fortunately, when they opened, I look at them, they look at me, they said, Kebbeh, come down. I come down. They said, go to the guard room. The time I was going to the guard room, that's the time I raised my head, I saw the clock was 10 minutes to 10. So upon entering the guard room, on the whole there was a man who was hiding himself just beside the wall there by the name JCB Mendy.
What was his rank then?
I think he was a private soldier at the time. So he just gave me a very good slap on my face. I nearly fall down.
Do you know if he was ordered to slap you? Did you hear any orders for him to slap you?
Not necessarily that, but I know it's something that they plan, because JCP alone will never look on Couple Kebbeh, much more going to the extent of slapping me. It's just the situation that I was at the time. So
what happened afterwards?
Gave me the slap, I nearly fall down, so I just control myself. Then they asked me to go and sit on the chair just next to the provost table. So I sit there. Then Edward Singate said, "That's the army commander," which was a strange to me. He said he's the one that they're supposed to give the army commander when they succeeded in their coup. Then he said he's the one who called from airport. I said, "Me?" He said, "Yes." I said, "No, sir. Me, I don't call from airport. And what you are telling me is a story to me. I've never joined any coup, much more than going to the extent of trying to appoint me as army commander." Then that's the time they call signal office. One signaler was there by the name B.I. He's a private soldier. I know the surname, but I don't know the full name. He was called B.I. He was the signaler. So they said I called B.I. from airport, which was not true. I was not at the airport.
Who said you were the one that called BI from the airport?
Edward Singate said it. He said I called. He was the one who said I was supposed to be the army commander when they succeed in their coup.
Apart from Edward, who else was in that room?
Sana Sabali was there with their Odlis, the Islamic party, and many other people were there. You know, the time they see me getting out from that boat, soldiers were coming from all corners just to come and see how they're going to last with me. So the place was very full.
So what happened when they called this BI?
They called
Private
BI. I took the phone. I said, "BI, you said me call you from airport." He said, no, Couple Kebbeh don't create problem for me. That's how hearing of the phone.
Did anyone else hear what BI told you?
No, I was the one speaking with him. But I understand that Couple Kebbeh, the time he was calling BI, Edward was inside the signal office. Because I think after, when we met up, me and him, and he took my weapon, that's the time he went to the signal office. So when they had that call from that Couple Kebbeh, so they thought that it was me, according to what I feel. So I said, "Sir, no, it's not me."
Which Couple Kebbeh do you think they're referring to?
Later I came to understand that Couple Ahmad Kebbeh was at the airport at the time. Sorry, let me clarify one thing here. I've had some people who testified before me mentioning my name, Alagie Amadou Kebbeh. Alagie Amadou Kebbeh. I'm not Amadou Kebbeh. I'm Alagie Kebbeh. 10877 is Alagie Kebbeh, me. 10878 is Amadou Kebbeh. So many people are mixing my name with him. I'm not Amadou, I'm Alagie. So I understand that he was the one who was at the airport at the time, and he was the one who wanted to speak to somebody into barracks, not me.
So you believe that the Kebbeh that RSM Sanyang was talking about and the Kebbeh that Edward was referring to is not you, and that is mistaken identity?
No, for RSM Sanyang, it's just out of, I don't know, because I went to RSM Sanyang broad daylight, and he knows me very well. We are staying together. So he cannot mix me with anybody. He was just trying to play games. And what he was saying wasn't true, was not the least. I've never seen RSM Sanyang at that night going to the extent of telling him to fall in the man. Who am I? May Allah's couple? This man doesn't know that I know my bits. Even if I was part of that, I will not take that responsibility. A junior couple to go and tell a whole RSM, come and fall in the man. What army is that?
So what happened after the call from BI?
So he said, let me just don't create problem for him. He decided to ring off the phone. I said, okay. Then that's the time Sana came in. Sana Sabari. He said, Kebbeh. I said, yes, sir. He said, you should be the last person to join this voice. I told him, sir, that will show you that I am not part of anything.
Why did he say that to you?
Okay, it's because Sana is my class. We joined army the same day. I'm older than him. I worked with his father. The time I was working with agriculture under guard. The father was at agriculture. I was working under a project, guard project. It's an agricultural project that came here from US. So I was their maintenance manager. You see? So I worked with Sana's father, Pabiji Sabari. By that time, I don't know Sana. You see? So during the time of our recruitment, when we are familiarizing to each other, that's the time he told me that he's from Kasakunda. I told him, anyway, I know a man by the name Pabiji Sabari. He said, he's my father. I said, that man is more a dad to me. We did a lot. We are working together. That's the time I told him, anytime you go home, tell your father that I met Mr. Kebbeh. When he make the father to know that, the father told him that that man is a brother to hold him. That's how we became used to each other. My wife can bear me witness. Anytime Sana came to Banjul, he would go and visit my family. The time I was in Birgama, Sana used to come there every day, almost. When they close work, straight to Birgama camp. My wife used to dish out food for them. I used to go around my house, leave them there with my music set. They enjoy themselves. Until last was, they come back to barracks.
So what happened after Sana told you that?
So when I told him that will show you that I will not be part of anything. So it was a little bit silence between me and him. At the time I had the shot from my left. It went inside this leg and buried itself here. I fall down. So
Can you please give us a description of what occurred in that room, where you were, where Sana was, and where the shot came from?
Okay, I was sitting at the corner of the guard room. The provost table is just in front of me like this. So Sana was sitting on the table. At my left hand side, there was a campbell there where Edu was sitting. I think it's good. I don't see him trying to aim to shoot at me. It could have been more worse on my side. Maybe I will try to defend myself from that bullet that it can touch me somewhere will do more harm than good.
So the shot came from Edward?
From Edward. So it passed through this left leg and buried itself inside this right one. I fall down. Edward rose and put the pistol on here to finish me, but he was shouted by Sana, "Stop it." That's the time he stopped.
What was the last name of Edward?
Edward Singati.
His?
Pardon?
His rank then?
Was the council members. By the time they were lieutenant, I think after that time, that's the time they promote themselves to those big ranks.
Can you please tell us how you felt when the shot passed through your body, and from which angle of your body did it pass through, and where did it land?
It passed through my left thigh and landed itself on the right one. You know, the velocity of the bullet was dropped because of it passed through the left thigh. That's why it buried itself. It hit the heart of the bone of my right thigh, just 3 inches below the femur. That's where it broke. And so with that, it cannot go out again, so it has to lodge itself there.
What were you feeling at that time?
I was feeling horrible. Somebody who is shot, you can estimate the pain you have at the time. So when I fall down, he went to extend to complete me once and for all. So he was stopped by Sana. So where I was lying down, I was lying on a pool of blood. So Sana asked me to get up. I told him, sir, I cannot. To my own sense, he decided to assist me to get up. But later he felt reluctant. He decided to sit back and call my name. He called me, Couple Kebbeh. I said, yes, sir. He said, try and get up. I forced myself with the help of the left leg. At that time, this right leg was completely finished. So I sit back. Then I started feeling the pain, which I cannot estimate. I asked them to just finish me once and for all, because I cannot resist this pain. So that's the time Sana started shouting, call me the medic, call me the medic. That's how they rushed and called the medics. They came with their first aid kits. Sana told them, you cannot treat this man here. He's dying in our house, take him. That's how I was dragged to the clinic there.
Who dragged you to the clinic? Can you recall?
I think it's the medics and some men. By the time, definitely, even to see, it's a problem. I heard Kuli in his testimony saying that he was there assisting, but I cannot recognize him, to be quite honest with you. It's only Laisar who I can recognize. Because Lai was talking to me.
What was the rank of Laisar?
Laisar, I think he was a sergeant at the time, but from the TSG. But he was a medical officer too, at the time. He was the senior man at the medical side there.
What treatment did they administer to you when you got to the clinic?
No, there was nothing that they can do. Only they were taking cottons, stuffing it inside the wound to stop the blood, because blood was flowing all over, both legs. But this one was more serious than this one. So they were trying to stop the blood by putting cottons in there, because there was nothing that they can do other than that. So,
were you given any pain medication?
No, I was drinking water only. I asked them water frequently. They gave me 6 bottles of Evian, this big one. I drank. I came to understand after Laisar was stopping them for giving me water. I don't know whether I could have drink until I finished, or maybe the drinking was the source of that blood coming out all the time. So I asked them not to give me water anymore.
Can you recall for how long you laid down there before Sana called out for medic?
No, when I fall down, when this man shot me, I fall down. He ran and wanted to finish me. He said, stop it. That's the time he asked me to get up. When I try and get up myself, the pain I was feeling, I cannot estimate it. I said, finish me. I cannot resist the pain. So that's the time he started shouting, call me the medics, call me the medics. That's how these people came with first aid box. He said, you cannot treat this man here. Take him, take him. So that's how I was dragged to the clinic.
Apart from stuffing your leg with cotton to try and stop the bleeding, did you receive any other medical attention?
There was nothing there. There was nothing there. So...
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, I think my time is up now. My time is up now for a break. So if we can pause the testimony here till we return. And I'd like to proceed with the witness. I apologize. I should have checked the time earlier in order to give time to the commissioners to ask questions. But I had lost track of time.
Thank you very much, Emma Council. I guess we would wait until we come back from the break, and if we have any questions, to pose those questions. In the meantime, we will take a 30-minute break. Come back at 12 noon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Meeting is adjourned.
1 2
Nijaay saako maalo bi jeex na te diwlin bi jeex na dama am pour dem marché.
Pape dégg nga li ndaw si wax de léegi nag dimbali ma rek nga lebal ma benn bidon diwlin ak benn saaku maalo soo ci mënee boole soble sax nga boole ko ci sama doom Lamine su yónnee xaalis bi rek ma fay la sa xaalis.
non boutique bi diwlin ma mënuma la koo lebal parce que doo ma dee fay on time loolu moo tax mënuma laa lebal.
daal yow sa doom bi fan la nekk.
sama doom mu ngi Angleterre.
Angleterre daal xanaa yoo yëgloo ba lu service ku ko am fu waay mun a nekk si àdduna bi mën na laa yónnee ndugg si nu gaaw te amul benn jafe-jafe amul ne réew bi dafa po te xoolal soble diwlin maalo pompiteer ak li ñu mel sooy yegg baluwo.com di nga ko am gis nga ku bëgg a jëfandikoo baluwo service bi dugal sa Play Store nga type baluwo.com downloadal app bi nga jëfandikoo ko ci nu mu gën a gaawee.
Assalamu alaikum badingolum bale konto na aya Africa television o bundala sina kuma kan futan dal mami yalon ko lebe dendi ni CDR la karola membe commission to TRRC Duns Hotel ko do sato kono alnal badi malem Lamin AFFS dabo badingolo be lunga talato momi yalon ko wole folo jiata saliba nyin kono tonya commission nyin na karola wole keta Alagie Kebbeh amma ka momi yalon ko wole babul nung so jare ala wato wole keta aka nung kopulya makamo nyindi jama yalon kopul Alagie Kebbeh la ay tandro ke ko data molti mi alon ko awuluta banjulle Gloucester Street anim fanan atata karam bungoto mi alon ko wolem kampama primary school ti bira boto auto anata tenteng kata dinkrato dam yalon ko wole keta St Augustine's la karambu nyinti ako kabira e bandi woto 1979 sango kono e anata ta karal la fala mi alon ko aketa meja karonti kapente ya doku nyinna karola ayo meja karonke e kabo 1979 kata 1982 sangola ay kapinta karon nyingenu memo vocational training te atendenda fanan kaitan roke ko anata ta doku wala dinkrato dami alon ko wolen Gambia Ports Authority ti anu fanna la damento yalon ko aketa ning moti ports la dinkra damento yalon ko doku membe dending kapinta yala Kenya la atendenda fanan kaitandi ko 1983 sango anare ke moti me yalon ko ya fansung dinkra yele dami yalon ko wala keta ala kapinta doku dula nyinti atendenda kaitandi ko kabirin tumala menna 1989 sango ako anata dabula fenkono me ala wala keta tombondroti men keta sojari ala nikindroti Gambia National Army anu intake 12 men keta sojaro la talbe kundanga ya tannim fulanjang ako aketa moti me alonko abulata wole kono Gambia banko kanjang ako kabirin tumala men na ala karango nyinke na ada samba dinkrato dame yalonko wole keta farafenye baraksti ako anata tentem fanan ka bo farafenye ya samba dulato dame alonko wole keta yundum baraksti ako fan eko company wakata dinkrati dame alonko abenu doku wala wolto yundum baraks ako anata ta nikindire lafare makamwa karan wala mi yalon ko keta dinkrati dame ala wolem farafenyeti atendenda fanan kaitandi ko kabirin tumala men na bota woto inata samba dinkrato dame anko wolem num biri kamati ako benum biri kama inata sounde ka muru yundum baraks ako kabirin tumala men na abe dinkra nyinto o yundum baraks anata ta puruka lifo lokun saba wucho kono ka o lifo ta ka safe kabrata raw lifo la janna kana yala makamo lafa ka ke lance corporalty ako kabrenga nata wato menna ye nyarandiro diala anu mom yalon ko le benun nyaton ka yala o wato la wala keta fresa jufti atendenda wole nyama ate couple Alagie Kebbeh akode ana molti me alonko a tarta nun do kola yundum barracks dinkra damento alonko sojaro la balwo Kenya aka topoto dulamento akodun anara ke moti me alonko a tarta do kola woto abenu normalanka ya lawma ka mo nyinto je ako damento alonko wolto mo ila dinkra nyindi ako fala balde de wo keta modi mi alon ko wole munu nyaton ko ti wo watola ako bari domorola al halo mi alon ko wala sojaro la karola ako wato men na british wol be nun jang ako kolu nyabo warta bake wole tambita nun kabirin Nigeria nol nata nun Gambia banko kanjang sojaria la kunda nyin nyaton ka makamo nyinto atendenda fana kaitandi ko ako dinkra damento ya lonko wole be dending ning uddo ko la karola ako ala makamo la fa 1990 lem lance corporal makamo nyi ya diala atendenda fana kaitandi ko de me ya lonko wole be dending kuola menketa 19 membe dending kuola 1994 la karo nyina akode obe mu fennete me alonko tariko landirun la karola atem molti me yalonko de abe sabatirin dinkrato damento yalonko wolemu yundum baraksi ako bare ate fango afintital num fang atara dulato dami alonko wole keta sere kundati kabirin abe murkan na nala muso nata ke kole akubar motola soto la karola ako kono atra gado fono nyanda ka soto wole keda July karo atelimuang anin kilingoti Yundum International Airport pour ka bendun droke mola mi alonko wole sa doda karaba jawra wato membe presde alanu ya foko abe bolana bantala banko kan damento alonko wolem Angleterre ako anala musobe moto batungola anara sojar moto baje sojarolu ba kono ani ilaw pare fengol men alonko e ka wollel ke nim bendundir ko wekela ani kukumalu mi alonko wolem ceremonial uniform ti ako kabri wo moto ba nyin tambitela wo kola anala muso bije moto ko kole atela karola anata wo moto ba nyin pass pour ka nyin ka fo be futala Yundum kampoto wona da fay ko ha ako nara bula moto bala wol nyama anin ala nomo nyonyin menketa ala musoti ako itata dinkra damento ya lonko wolemu Yundum baraksi ako bar moto ba nyin kono driver nyi ay tandala ko de foy mamo ko menketa airport ro ko molle laftanun ka kudeta ke nun an wonara ke fendi me alon ko a baytale saintenna abe tembo mento sojar kunda to kontano mantara kerinje ako kabiri woyo kuma kan fay atana la muso kabiri jita moto nyin kono e nada da dinkrado dami alon ko wala keta Bahamas ti e talbenu sabati wolto en donyo sojarolo atendenda fanan kaytandro ke kode momi yalon ko wole keta saji Musa maneti akode wo watola ya foko atele marta motola kunya topotorola anu anata Bahamas wodin kranyinto wala bungoto ka kidi kuma kan moy ala werol la karola nyin kamala ko cabol batele bulu anu moma kum falaje anu wom fenti me alon ko sojarol nyun sulata wo cabol nyinna atendenda fanan ka 50 ko de molme yalon ko kuma bira kuma kan nyim moy ako anata ta dinkrato damento yalon ko wole keta Yundum barracks fonti kabo Bahamas anum birata ta wodula nyinto anata ka mojije mi alon ko wole mi ya jamete ani Edward Singate ni donyo sojarolu ay nyin karo soto mi alon ko wole boda mobulu bilungala membe siring nyin karo la fannala council la karola men kada Mariama Singate ti o kay ko de ya jamme anin Edward Singate yewol lonno nyaadile ela ke suute ko kabral tata Yundum barracks nyaay wo molje akode Edward Singate molti me alon ko ano bebe Gambia National Army le bari ya jamme atam molti me alon ko 1992 lem yana fe Gambia National Army ka bondi gendarmerie kabrentu mala men gendarmerie ta ke farasi ke tala ka dol samba dinkrato dame anko wala sojaro la fannati ye dolu ka fo police olma atendenda fanan kaitan roke ko kabiri futata Yundum barracks nada ka jeroke al halo la mi alon ko ya jamene Edward Singate momorondi nata e ka mari nyinin kale ete mari fo e be kafula molma balla fakada kudeta la ni mari ko ha ye jorango dila ye dabula je natra ko mari balanda e ke mari yumbu wala nyama ye samba kate soron no baraks la o selo membe e la gadru moro ako fang jetole momi yalon ko wala kedane na jibril sete kabrentu malamen na wonata ya kuma kawta ka sain kan ako balante bulanu e nata samba kata a soron dinkrato dami alon ko wala mu ela gadrum selolti ako bar silo kan amuta ko kabrin meta ka ko 5 kan letna jibril sedron afanan nata song afanan nata ka kidol ninta tendenda ka 52 ke kode mi alon ko wala be denni wolu ngala karola memo 22 July alaw suba ma ku yandaw nying ako moto kol nara soto bake we moldiki wakamala sojaro dol nata ta dingrado dami an ko wala manasila bakandi pour ka moto dolta ke bantambilno nyin kamala se motolu se famuna fannola atendenda kaytandi kode me alon ko wala be dending wolungola ako fang Edward Singade be moto men kono memo pick-up poti ako moto nyin atele keta more me alon ko wolunga atele o moto nyin borindi ako bayre ni ajube wo watola so jar jama bije mam moto no moto borinde ko manke fende me anko ya no o dalilo kambala atele Edward Singade la pick-up o nyin borindi Edward be sira kartan tawla ako ma fang so jaro do bije ka me ko Demba Balde atendenda fanan kaytandi ko de ya jamme nyolu wol keta molle me alon ko wol nata ke tol tara dinkrato dame yalon ko wala keta nun wo salo nyinti memu banjul la silo kanti ka fo dame dentim bridge ako wolungo fango civilian jamal bi je men yalon ko ila fakada banjul ni la motolu moliya kibaro wol fango hitande ko nun to minister membe nun Gambia banko kan agriculture PPP Masakunda wa agriculture minister memu honorable OJ Jalloti ako de ya foko fang Alabama dinding wole bantanum banjul anu molbita kanje pour ka furiota kata ala bade kunyani topoto ako etel nada kanyin civilian volta ke murundi ko ke jamfandi wo dinkrala bari wo wato mane ne rolo be kekan gendarmerie la commandol me yalon ko wolel be banjul mafon la dendim bridge la banjul mafon la wolel ni molbe kata kan memu ya jamme nyolti wo dinkrato da me yalon ko wole wo salo nyindi ako kabri wo mane ne rol nyin nata ke anata nata tenten kata dinkrato da me yalon ko wole kata banjulti bara nata itande ko de kabrentu mala men tata fo state house akoy be je drong watu sutindin kono ako sana sabal nata kumandi akay ko kopul kebe mbela fila pro eta dinkrato da me yalon ko wole MSGT say mol ka fo da me nawek nyin kamala ko yekibar akoy ko kibaro le sotota ko modolu de kurawni jela karola e bela fila pro kam man toro na feje wodo kamala malla fi kula me yalon ko wole be class feje mense molla muna fango kurawni jela karola ase o mantorano akotu male atenata ta dinkrato da me alon ko wole dinkra men sain nka foje ko nawek nunto e ka foje ko MSG ako kabrentu mala men nata je sana sabal nata itandi o molla ko de nyimmi alon ko nata jang ko kurundi nata ko wolem al halolti men nyanta ka tobendi o bebe kelale anu adem molti me alon ko ate diamulade momorandi mana nya jawya ka jang surtout me alon ko mantoro sabula kurawni jela karola ako sana sabal ko kidole be diamula jang barin kidoni kesole be mbulu akode atarta o dinkira nyinto aytande ko fang me alon ko wala tata follo kon saba wucho kono ako ate kopul kebe anala molu inada taraw dulado kaje kanta kaje ko de jenin kurango wo karonyina MSD on fendi me alon ko mo kana sotaro dum wo karonyina anada itande ko fang wolungo samo atenada puruka sula nyin kamala kada ba ma jube ako ba ma jube nyin modo me alon ko ka murmurun kala aka nara o moto nyinta ba moto la al halol be nyamenna moto kote man sotono ako anin sana sabal benda Westfield ma fawla wa nyinin ka kopul kebe kada minto aka ko kadam ba mala jube ako sana nata ka sojarol jindinu moto dole kono membe tambi kan anara faade kopul kebe ay muna fawla asikibaro kala molye purisina moto do kama me alon ko wala muy la patrol mototi ka bentuma la menna be nawek lo dinkrato nunto e ka fo dame MSG atendenda fanan kaytandi ko de kabren tumala men adara bama jube aytandi wala ko de ala alol tanota tala pour ka wo fanan hakilo tenkunde aka anara muro dinkrado ako bari kabren tumala men na lokul sabo bodala ako enare be murundi kata dinkrado dami alonko wala mu ila bodulate men kada yundum baraksti ako tata yundum baraks wala nyama kabre futata je atendenda ala do kudlado dami alonko wala mu Quartermaster la dinkra nyinti ako fang o wato nyinna momi alon ko wala be sojar kampo nyi nyaron ka ara kan ako le kada lieutenant Basir Baroti ako kabring Basir Baro ya bondi je enara mona fena mi alon ko wala kada maronti bar maron adem molti mi alon ko wo zandamol men ye kafunin polisol ma o TSD wo mu molti mi alon ko adem maron aboda wolto ako wala na adem maron na pokendo fonola atendenda fanan kaytande ko de ko kurunding mi alon ko lebe dending sojaro la le halola men si falinno ako wo kudeta nyin kola ako fende je mi alon ko de a falinda de ako kuol tentenda wala nyam anata 50 ke November karotil tango ko de kabo talan fula kada talan saba ma fonla ako RSM nate kumandiroke melon ko wala kada RSM Babukar Sanyante ako ay sojarol be kumandi ko de e besa kafu nyoma memu folenti dinkrado da melon ko wala law baller doko be loren damento ako kabring sojarol be kafu da nyoma mini dandan don enara sojar nyaadon kolje men alon ko wala junta membasti ako de wol kono Edward Singate sana sabale kada asta budi hydra ako de ayo moluje wo dinkra nyento ako fanan sojar nyaadon ko dolbeje membo ko Babukar Jata ani Modu Baji akol fana mabeta wo dinkira nyintole ako kuma kaw na rabo sana sabal bulu kaytandi etol sojaro la ko ye kuma kibaro le moy ko modo le lafta kela AFPRC sojar man sakunda en kudeta anu momorandi yalon ko wo ko nyi ida bulata akoto be men late kan imare tal nola dunola ako fana Edward Singara fana nara kuma kan kilimo le 5 ans Edward nada fan atendenda ka pistulo fay santo sinya saba ka kidi kanya sabake ako Edward yo kede ako kabiren tumala men na baw dinkra nyindo momi yalon ko wala nada pour ka etolu kibare memo RSM Babukar Sanyanti anara silo nyini junta membal bulu fo ese nyin sojarolu bulanole bay janjang ako silo nata yele ako kabir tumala men nata tata ako ajakal tabake ako bari wodinkra nyindo ka kuma kam moy membo ko kudeta anu ate sojar nene mo 5 ka nyala warando nene ma ngunu moy mola ako de wo kibaro kam moy sana sabal nyolla wo keda fende mi alonko wata jakal bakele atendenda fanan kaytandi ko de kabren tumala men nay do ko ke fajita ako atata ala bosia wado momi yalon ko wolebe nyadon kayala wo Quartermaster dinkra nyinto membe supervise naje ako mu lieutenant dabolti ako na da fay ko de asida moya me yalon ko wolen RSMT pour nyin kamala ase akibare kula mi alon ko anyanta wala kala mutala ako ada fanan tata wala nyama dinkrado da mi alon ko wala RSM Babukar Sanyanna sabati dinkrati damento alon ko wala be Bahamas ako atambita de nyola anu akay ko RSM lieutenant dabo ko ngana pour sen kala mutandi kibarola mi alon ko nyanta ka fonye ako bare RSM Sanya mem fa wala nyinde ko fentembulu nse mem foye kibarola karola ako tumala fanan tentenda ata ala bungoto ako kabra tata oto tumala menna anata parendro ke pour ka ta dinkrato damento yalon ko wala mu ala musu fulan jango yati alaw musu fulan nyawning aytande ko de obe dinkramento wala mu latere kundati ako wato fan musu sabale babulu bare ala musu do anobe damento wala Bahamasti nus fulan jang obe sabarde latere kundale ala musu sabanjang wala be ila fa korda nyin kono membe banjul sata on nyin kono atendenda kaytande ko kabra yeku ay salta anate pare pour kata o muso nyiya mi alon ko wala mala musfulan jawdi ako bara anata kibaro soto me yalon ko wo bota mobulu men keta sajin jatati ako fan mole me yalon ko anim Babukar Jata dentale wado membe nyaton ka ala Gambia la sojar kunda nyento atendenda kaitandi ko de ako woyme kibaro men diala wo sajin jada wala nyinte ko de ate kopul kebe anyanta bulala molle kono me yalon ko wolelu be kantaro nyi makamo tala membe dendin ni molla karola menu nyanta ka parendroke pour ka nikindiro soto me yalon ko wolebe tarla dendin parendro la ko hakili bulandi long sojaro la karola memory remembrance date ye mel lola ko anyanta kala dimanche lungola atendenda kaitandi ko kabri wonara listo diala wo kono anata moje me yalon ko wala kada Basiru Kamarate ako dum Basiru Kamara nata nyininka fo afanam be mol kono le bang menum bita o kantaro nyina aka ko ha dum molu ye bondi fanna jamaldo kabola engineer na karola wala kapintalu anim fanam fital na nyongolu wonim fo tabir lalu ye molu bondi wo beto pour wol sita josayro keno kantar la karola wolum yundum baraks wala kada karo memu November ti atilitango nyinna karola akodun anada nyin karo ke wato mi alon ko be do ko dadla nada itandala ko de avec la 11 ma fonti waranto nin 12 o'clock sita drong ako wotu malem afana nade pare kabrao pare wolke kabala bungoto anata dinkra ta bay dame ko le latre kundade ako aya ko lo dulado dame alon ko wala yundum baraksi ako bari Basiru Kamara wakera molti me alon ko anata ta bitiko dole be silo kan asota je ako ata tententa wala nyama ako kabira tata fo afutata ko bunda nyima me alon ko wala yundum baraksi ako ani Edward Singate bentaje wakay ko kopul wakay ko kopul kebe ila kidole aka ko afele ako Edward Singate ka ila kido dinna anada la kido di Edward Singate la wala nyama ako abita kan anada moy fang Edward be diamu kan abe itandro ke kan ko ne natra ko alme hakilo to fang mbe kula lal kanja ako kabirate nada o kumol moy bari yala kido tabul anu momen nyanda kada kantarola sayang ala kantarla ni ota aga fanan ko madu ngamuru ngata nabungoto dami alon ko wala mu dinkrati Bahamas wala sabati dula mi alon ko wala be kere len sojaro lenu gambe banko kan yunum baraks ako atendenda wala nyama bar bira bida kan dron anara kuma kan moy mi alon ko wala keda kidi kuma kan wolti ako dum wo kidi kuma kan wolu biri e nyo jinkan ke dron wato wala anata ta kabira fuda da bungodo anara fala muso na lam bindano e ko alfana e fundi mol fele bela dimba al fundi ndi kanjang anun kide kan wala kumata anun tolbe tembo mento mbe sojar yala karola kido ni wo kumata sojar kamporo don alonko al halol tamansero kumanta tenkunding ako afana ala musota wala nyama ani ala bindano ke samba ala bitanyolya damento alonko wala banjulundini ako bara ala muso fulan ala muso ani membe sabatri nun Bahamas wo bora birkamale anum birkama jamfatale ako narata dinkrado dame anko wala banjulundini tara ala bitanyolya ako kabra ala muso samba wo dinkra nyinto anata fanan ka nyin karo soto me alon ko wala boda kansilo membe nyin kar tabulo to bilungola me yalon ko wala keta moti ka fo meye ko Mariama Singate anata nyin karo kala ko be tembo men to de ko me yalon ko wala be dendin CDR la RSM Babukar Sanya memfo ko kuma kan wala bodana wala bulu me yalon ko wala kedate ko bul kebeti ko puraita ka kewol ka funni nyoma aka ay hani na raw kuma kan fota o ma ko bul kebe dole wodi bar o man kenteti bar ente molti me yalon ko nte mambo fe ngo feren nin karama ferol la landro la karol anin sojare ala makamoro nte munun kopulolti anu kopulo wode RSM mo ya marnola anara ko ndro fanan ke je ko abela vlade mo be salon Gambia nin dunia kono taring ko kopul kebe sabale be Gambia National Army ako ate kopul kebe ate Alagie Kebbeh ako ala number is 10877 10877 ako wala ma ateti ako dum modo bije mi alon ko memu kopul Amadou Kebbeh de ano 10878 lede ako ni ajube nyimmolo ako wo kopul Kebbeh do ako de amawola al halo lombake ako bari wato de obenum fara fe baraks le ako tel mo sababe je ako dum fengo feren ni mi alon ko wala be dending ning atela karola ako fengo fenteje mi alon ko aya tamandi ako de RSM Babukar Sanya na kuma kan natara ko kopul Kebbeh do be tarla jede wo mari so kuma kan fono en ko ngata kewlo kafu nyoma ako bare amankate Alagie Kebbeh tendenda fanan ka sen kan roke ko kabren tuma la menna ala muso ning ala ndimbindano samba banjolo ndia bitanyolya ako abe sabatri wolto ako kabren afuta je tuma la menna ako o samo somonda nara kibaro moy sana sabali dante roke ko de kudeta le kurkurtanu bar sojaro dol nara foy niela kabren tuma la menna nyobungol keta ako kabrayo kibaro nyim moy afanan nara batun ka je ko de abe batulale janning tenel lungola o ko la sta doku dularo dame anko wala yundum baraksi ako bara bejele fo dimanche lungo anata ka kibaro soto ko de sojaro dolle bañinen ka kan ako anada findi wala nyama kabrala alansaro saldron ako anada moje mi alon ko wala keda lavin fatiti kada bashamba jallo anim fanan jamme kondon ka foko jama ka fa kanilay ako fo buba jammele mbam fo a tode wo mu fende mi alon ko wala lafta fillama bara kondon mu jammelti bara telefona mu sojaro de mi alon ko e ka kuma ni kanilay la ako wol nada tandala kode abe damento e nadal pour ka ares ako ala fa kabula moto kono wol ka hani moto la buto kono abe bulala wolto aka fa nan na bula buto kono wala nyama ay fero ke ka fa nyombu baren ke ba kumbandi ngo ni koy bo dundila moto detere kono ala buto nyin dula me yalon ko fan hani beangolu ete bulandila je ako na ra kole abulu bake bara wakilta anara bula buto kono ako bari wo alansara kola kabiri wo wato atarra moto kono wato dobi aka bakara mako moto in lotale wato dobi je moto sewutu ako bari wato menna inata ta fudan dulado dame anto yalon ko wala yundum baraksti ako wato kabrai montoro jube santola ako talentan dasata minute tang ako woto dalilo menti wala monto wati lulu nyong ayoke moto nyin na buto nyin kono ako atarata pisik akamda ko momi yalon ko yekulu panole so akan jela karola atendenda fanan kasen kan doke kabirin addu afuta da dulado damento yalon ko wala yundum baraksi ako anata ka jakal kubaje bari modol weddente dae gadru mola salo kono ako maria tulobun do manda mina boyla ako dun keda mendi wala mu John CB menditi ako wala keda modi me alon ko wo tulubundiro nyin ayake ala karola atendenda fanan kaytandi ko inara afay ko praita si ako abe osio nyineto sana sabal nada afay ko bol kebe itele nyanda kala mola bawde men nyanda dabula la nyin kudetaro aka ko sana sabal ko abe tembo mendo wala saytandi la ko ndemu moti me alon ko ndata nyin koto ako ayo itandi sanala bari fente je me alon ko mboda kalama ako kabiru waketa Edward Singate wonada ka kumandi kayitandala ko de atemu mode me alon ko ye wala lahi de koy bakela ami commandati nata kudeta nyin tamata nyama ako date men tandala wolem e ben kuma kam men fo kanyeten nde mombo fengo ferendin karama woro ako jetor kabira ngani sanalo diamo bandron ako anata je kidi keso ya bung ala buluba wutora kada finde ala mara ala karola ako dum wo keso nyin momen kada faylade wala kada Edward Singate ako yelo nata sursula ako Edward nata fang pura ka kidolo akungo ka labang ako bar sana sabali mentandala wala nyinto ko prasa ko nyinta ka akundu wala nyinto ko akana abunki dola ako sana Edward muda ka bantambil wala ako tumalem dron Edward singa sana sabali anata fay ko pray wule akay tandala ko akay ko de mbedamento baladi momen benna nta wuli wunnola ako abe wala kono watola sana nara kumandroke molla me yalon ko wala keda sojaro doldi anim fana ila demaro bunda menumula medical ti ila loptan ndum yanko wala beje ako wol nata tumala menna ya yumbu wala nyama ya samba e tata e kotondol ta wo kotondol ning e kala yelo nyinta pour ka a jeko e be fero men landila yelo se kuntuno nyamen ako anata tarawo alhalo nyine nyama ako nyaton ko mi alon ko wala benu maralin medic wala no sol menu benu yundum barak so nyin kono aytande ko de wala keda lay sharti anu lay shar anala molu enada fero ke pour ka je ko wo kotondo la karola e batele yelo tala e ba kuntula nyamen badi ngo woketa 50 roti siela wuce folo kono membota sedo bulo ka fay ko couple Alagie Kebbeh me yalon ko afanan amu sedoti bilungola TRRC la commission la karola ala baraka bake foni mursale nan dron siela kunya fulan jangu nyin kola alnal badi malem lamin AFF S dabo
Council, you may proceed. Thank
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
You're welcome back, Mr. Kebbeh.
Thank you.
I just wish to remind you that you're still on the oath.
Yes, no.
So I'd like to give you a recap of your evidence so far and where you stopped.
No problem.
Before the break, you had mentioned that you were arrested at your in-laws' house in Banjulinding at 5 p.m. And you were asked to enter a small boot of a vehicle.
Yeah.
You were in that boot for 5 hours.
Yeah.
And then later, the car stopped at Yundum Barracks, and you were asked to go into the guard room. While entering the guard room, you were slapped by JCB on the face.
Yeah.
And once you entered inside the guard room, you saw Edward Singate, Sana Sabali, and some of their orderlies in the guard room, and you sat in a chair. When you entered the guard room, Edward called you the army commander, and he said you were the one that called the signal room, which you denied. And while you were having a conversation with Sana Sabali about that issue, Edward Singate shot you on the leg. The bullet passed through your left thigh into your right leg. And while you were bleeding, Sana called for medic, and you were taken to the clinic. And at the clinic, they tried to stop the bleeding by stuffing cotton in the wound. That's where you stopped with your evidence. Now, I just wish to ask you, apart from the treatment, like using of cotton on your wound, did you receive any other medical attention while you were at the clinic?
Not at all.
For how long did you remain in that condition?
I was there for 3 days, because I was shot on Sunday, the 13th. So I was there Sunday, Monday, up to Tuesday, the 15th, around midday. That's the time they took me to hospital, RBTH.
For the 3 days that you were at the clinic, did you receive any painkillers? Because you did mention earlier that you were in so much pain after you were shot.
There was nothing that was given to me.
How were you feeling then?
All the time with pain, all the time with pain. Somebody bulleted inside his body. A foreign particle inside your body is a problem, much more a bullet. I will not shoot my enemy, I'll tell you this, with the experience I have.
So you mentioned that the bullet was still inside your body.
Yeah, it's inside my body. I don't lie on the side.
Where exactly was it lodged?
Around 3 inches below my femur, that's where it is here.
So what happened after the 3 days?
So they took me to hospital.
Hospital was that?
According to the medical officer, Lysar, since the time they shot my leg that Sunday, I don't know who informed the army commander then by the name Babukar Jata. So Babukar was calling at the clinic there.
Sorry, Mr. Kebbeh, I can barely hear you. Can you please move the microphone close to you so that...
Okay. Are you hearing me now?
Yes, that's...
Okay. So during that period, according to the medic, he was speaking with the army commander pertaining to my affairs, because I don't know how the army commander came to know that I was shot. Then he called Lysar, or Lysar called him, the medical officer, and tell him that I am called by Sana at the guard room, but I met the shot couple Kebbeh. He said, which couple Kebbeh are you referring to? He said, couple Alagie Kebbeh. He said, no, check, the one they shot, according to Sir. So he said, I'm living with Kebbeh, so it's Kebbeh that they shot. You see? So that's the time he said, how is Kebbeh condition? How is his condition? He said, his condition is very serious, but he's trying to manage with things. Then Monday morning, he called. By the time Lysar was in, it was the medical assistant who spent the night with me there, who took the phone and say, after he told me, this is the army commander who was calling, and he was asking for Lysar. Then later I came and said, the army commander was talking to me about your affairs. I think he's trying to do something. I said, okay. But I was all the time lying down with pain. So that's the time he told me, on Tuesday morning, he said, he came to me and said, Kebbeh, I was called by the army commander. He said, let me take you to the hospital. I said, okay, no problem. So he said, they are going for the ambulance. I said, okay. I was there till around midday. That's the time he came back. He said the ambulance was having problem, but it's already remedied. Now we can go. I said, okay. That's how they put me on a stretcher and took me inside the ambulance. Then I was taken to RBTH, where I was admitted.
For how long were you admitted at RBTH?
I was there, I think, from that November, December, January, February. A little after when I heard that this man was arrested, Sana Sabari, a little after that time, that's the time one fine day Raisar came and said that I was discharged by the hospital. Anyway, I said, okay. He said, but I'm taking you to the clinic. I said, okay, it's fine. So they took me to barracks at the clinic there, where I spent a little time. One fine day, the military police came there. They said, I'm going on orders to the CO of one battalion, who was Vincent Diata, the late at the time.
While you were admitted at RBTH, did your family know your whereabouts then?
Yeah, the first day it was a big problem because my wife came, they said they don't allow her to come in. My mother the same thing. So until the second day, because I was admitted with a heavy guard there, soldiers were standing beside my bed with their weapons. So, but the second day, the guard who was there I forgot his name, but he was at least a reasonable somebody. My mother came very early, so the guard outside came and told him that anyway, this old woman is the mother of couple Kebbeh. So he said, allow her to come in, no problem. I said, I even told him that, hope you will not have problem. He said, sir, no problem, feel free. I said, okay. Then my mother came.
Were they eventually able to remove the bullet from your right thigh?
This bullet is still here. Me, I don't lie on this side. I don't lie on this side.
"25 years after that incident, the bullet is still in your right thigh.
Yeah, it's still here.
Are you okay to continue, Mr. Kebbeh? So apart from your family members, did any other army officer visit you while you were admitted at RBT? Can you please turn on the mic? It's off. Press on the green button.
At that time, most of these soldiers, they don't want to come closer to people like us because we fall victims. So there was a day, I understand, San Sabari's convoy had an accident. One of their onlys had a broken hand and was brought to the same ward where I was admitted, 8 and 3. So in the evening, Peter Singate and John Gomez, I think he was a sergeant major at the time, John Gomez, they came to visit Albert, the only who had accident. So they learned that I was admitted in the same ward at the corner. So Peter came up to the side of my bed. As a junior officer to him, I still know Peter as far as service is concerned. Peter came to the army around 93, you see? So I just raised my hand to show respect on him, but he was not satisfied. He said, Corporal Kebbeh, you are lying down here. I said, yes. He said, this is too small for you. He would have killed you. I just look at him and keep quiet. That's how he turned his back and go. Around that, no officer ventured to come and visit me.
Can you recall how many men were admitted at the hospital, the ones that had an accident?
Okay, no, it was only Albert that I know at the time. After, I think, after this Bait Sambajaro that came to arrest me with Fatih and that Kanilai, I understand he had a problem with the Zanramuri and he was shot on the buttocks and he was admitted at ICU. One fine day, I was just lying on my bed, he just came down. He said, sir, I learned that you are here, so I just come to see you. I said, okay, thank you. By that time, my late wife was there. She brought food. I asked her to dish out food so that we can eat together. We eat together, then we go back to his ward.
Just to be clear here, who are you referring to? The one that was shot? Fatih or Kanilai?
No, Bachsamba Jaro.
Bachsamba. Thank you. So how long was it while you were admitted? You said you were admitted 3 days after you were shot at RBTH.
Yeah.
How long was it before Sanas Audley was admitted at the same hospital?
No, I cannot remember definitely the period, but it's not quite long. Because I understand their convoy had an accident at around Tabokoto, I don't know, Abokoyan. So Albert was a guy I know, so he was admitted in the same ward with me, with a broken hand. He's late now too.
You also mentioned that you were discharged and then sent to Yundum Barracks for others. Yeah. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, I was sent for orders in the CO's office, who was Vincent Jatta at the time, the late. He was the commanding officer of 1 battalion. So he read my orders in front of RSM Sanyang, this Babukar Sanyang, and he said they are charging me for participating in that 11 November incident. I said no. I've never participated in anything. I don't even know about this 11 November incident. So that's the time Sanyang was called. He said, I went to him. What he said that day and what he said here is two different things. He, Sanyang, said, I went to him and said, my boss, Lieutenant Jaju, asked me to go to him for him to brief me.
And who was your own boss at that time?
It's Lieutenant Dabo, who was overseeing Quartermaster's office, not Lieutenant Jaju. Lieutenant Jaju was an engineer. So he said he doesn't know what to tell me. I started telling him that we are going after this council, Edward Singate, you name it. Which was not true. Me, I've never sit with any council member for them to promise me anything. After the 22nd July, all soldiers know that that coup was planned within a company, that is Eco Company. I was not belong to that company. I've never attended meeting, I've never sit with any council member for them to promise me anything. How will I know that those people, they promised these people? for me to go on, to be going after them. You see? So it was just a bunch of false allegations against me and nothing else. You see? So that's what he said in front of the late Vincent Jata. So Vincent Jata said, what you said, Kebbeh? I said, that is not true, sir. He said, then I refer you to Army Commander's orders. I said, okay, thank you very much. So that's the time. They asked me to fall out. When I was going with my crutches, I met in the door, at the door, sorry, these military police officers. They said, Corporal Kebbeh. I said, yes. I said, you are going to Mile 2. I said, no problem. That's how they took me to the guard room, put me inside the cell, let me sit there. They go and prepare their vehicle, come. That's how they bring me to Mile 2.
You mentioned that the bullet was still lodged in your thigh.
Up till now.
How were your injuries then at that time?
I was just managing with pains, that's all the time, because I cannot remove it, and I cannot stop the pain, so I was all the time with pain.
So what kind of treatment did you receive while you were at RVTH?
No, okay, the time they were taking me to RVTH, the wound started getting septic. Because of just 3 days I was lying down there untreated. So they cannot do anything, and thank God, that is what saved me. Because if they happened to touch this wound at that time, I could have ended up sitting on a wheelchair, because where this bullet is buried, it's very serious. So, but because of the wound started changing, they decided to dress the wound until it healed up, then they look what to do further. On the whole, they were told that there are cuttings inside the wound. But these cuttings were just forced in without tying them. So these people, they just take out what they feel is, they can take it out and they don't see anything, so they decided to dress the wound. While at that time, there are some cuttings left inside the wound. So the day those cuttings reacted inside that wound, it was more severe than even the bullet that I received that day. The whole night I could not sleep. I was crying throughout. The doctor on call was Dr. Jan, the one at this place, Afrimed now. He was called. He came to my bed around 6:30 to 7. The time they opened the wound, we see black things coming out from it. So that's the time he prescribed a medication for me, which I bought from my own pocket. It was not available at the hospital at the time. So that's what they used to heal up my leg.
You had mentioned earlier that the bullet passed through from your right to your left thigh.
Yeah.
That means there was an opening.
Yes, yes.
There were 2 openings on your left thigh.
Yeah.
And 1 opening on your right thigh.
Yeah,
Then.
Yeah.
Now, can you take us through step by step what happened when you got to Mile 2 prisons?
I was taken to Mile 2. From the orders, they took me to the guard room. They locked me inside the cell there. I was sitting down. Then later they prepared their vehicle and come and take me to Mile 2. So they escorted me to Mile 2 to the office. Then from there, they took me to confinement number 4.
Were you processed in any way when you got to Mile 2?
No, there was nothing done. I was just taken there. I was sitting. Just a little, they said, yes, we can go. That's how they escorted me with some prison police. So we went inside the confinement. They put me on cell number 2. It was break time, I can fully remember, because they used to break 12 o'clock and come back 2 o'clock. So I met, the place was so quiet on the whole. Other officers were in. So I was locked in cell number 2. After they locked the main gate, I heard Captain Kebbeh's voice. He said, "Who is that?" I said, "It's me, sir, Kebbeh." He said, "Kebbeh, what brought you here?" I said, "It's these people. I understand that you are wounded in your leg." I said, "Yes, but with all that, I am brought here." So that's how everything went. So till they came back by 2 o'clock and opened them. So they meet these prison officers. Some of them are very wicked, let me tell you this. with all the wound I'm having, the crutches I'm walking with, they said their tradition, they have to change your legs when you go in there. So at the time, the senior man at the confinement wing was Sergeant Jawando. I think he's dead now. So they have to put those chains on my legs. But when Kambi and Chongan came out and they protested and said, no, this man is suffering, you want to put chain on him again. What is this? So you have to take it out. They even said I should not have rest because that is not part of their tradition. I should wait for at least a week or so. But these people protested again. They said, no, you have to. From that evening, they started taking me out. You see?
We have received testimony at this commission that in mile 2, the bed that was given to the inmates, it only had a plank of wood on it.
Oh, yeah.
And that they were given chamber pots as well to use for their toilets.
Yeah.
Given your condition, did they give you any preferential treatment to ease your pain?
No. There was no.
How did you cope in the cell?
Struggling just to survive, survival of the fittest, with the help of Mafuji Sonko. I have respect for that guy. Every morning he will come and clean my cell, help me to sit outside. Before going to bed, he will go and fill the water of my bucket, this thing, the 5-gallon water this thing for me, put it inside, and help me to get inside and be in my cell.
Did you receive any medical attention while you were there?
No, they don't give you anything. They don't give you anything. They don't give you anything. At the time, I was not even taking medicine, only painkillers. That's the time I was in the clinic. But when I was going to Mile 2, they don't take me along with anything. And there, even one tablet, if they don't prescribe it for you, they give it to them. They will not allow you to have it, unless you smuggle it yourself. You see, because those people are very negative. Anything they want to do, they think that you wanted to commit suicide or I don't know what. So if you are dying, they will just call these people until they came. That's the time you have treatment. If not, you have a problem.
Were you allowed to go to the hospital while you were at Mile 2?
No, I don't go to the hospital.
How did you cope in your condition?
I was there struggling, as I said before, with the help of Mafuji. Mafuji was doing a lot for me. Until one fine day when I fell down, it was a big problem. You see, because somebody who cannot squat, you know, those toilets, they don't have these flush toilets. You see? So you just try to manage yourself. The toilets are very small. Sometimes I have to screen myself like this, just to ease myself. You see? I really struggled a lot there. So when I fell down, it was a period of 22nd July. These people were called, they said they are on standby, they cannot come. I was there for the whole week with severe pain.
When you fell down, did it affect your injuries?
Of course, yes. My leg had a problem again. You know, this leg, the day the bullet enters this place, there was no bone that was left. It broke all the bones. So it's only carrots that is holding this leg. I cannot move it properly. Up to today, let me tell you this. There are certain movements, if I did it, ask my family, I have to sit for some time before being able to walk. So I fell down there, it had a problem again. I was there, they called us there on 22nd July celebration. For a week, I was with that there. We even appealed to them for Major Njai Pacha to come and assist me. They accepted less than 5 minutes, they say no. They think that if I'm with Major Njai in one cell, something might happen. What is going to happen? Somebody whose legs are not good. Those people are wicked. So I was there until after the 22nd July. Before, they sent one medical officer, this small boy, Kombo, that's his name. He was from the Zandarmuri. I don't know his full name, but they used to call him locally Kombo. So he came, he saw how my leg was. He said, "Sir, I'm not going to touch this." That's what he told me. I'm not going to touch this. I'll let me go and report back to Lysar. And that's how he went. Even paracetamol, he did not give it to me. So he went back and explained to Lysar according to him what he told me. You see? Then after the celebration, they sent that colleague. He came with the ambulance and they took me back to RBTH. It was a problem when the doctors saw me in that condition.
Which colleague are you referring to?
I think Islamin Koli, the one who testified the last time I was saying that he was assisting me the time I was shot.
That will be your second time going to the RBTH?
Yeah, that's the second time.
What happened when you got there?
So when I got there, it was a problem. There was a surgeon there by the name Dr. Martin. He was a German. They discharged me the time I was going first. They even escorted me. My wife was there. This guy sitting here, she was the one who packed all my things and take them back home. So I was walking on crutches. I wasn't that much well, but I can move with crutches. So when they saw me, I cannot walk. Dr. Martin said, "What the hell is happening? See, this man was here walking with crutches. Now he's here, he cannot walk. Now you must have to explain what is wrong with this man." So that's where the problem comes. He said he's not going to admit me unless they explain to him why I came with that condition. Or maybe they were suspecting that there is foul play in there or not. Okay, that's the time they called the army headquarters. So this man was called Dennis Coker, who was the TRRC of the army commander at the time. He's in the US now. He was a major at the time, major or captain, if I can fully remember. Then when he came, we explained everything, the scenario to him. He said to the doctors, Dr. Martin, that this man lying down here is my brother. Though I seniored him in the army, both service and rank, but he's older than me. 1, 2, he was my technician. All my furniture was made by this man. He is more a brother to me than a colleague and than a working colleague. So what you people are asking, the people who are to explain that to you, they will never come here. So it's best we see the interest of the person that is lying down here with pain and readmit him. That's how they come to conclusion. They decided to admit me. Then I was there for a period. They come and discharge me again and take me to Mile 2.
Can you recall when you went back to RBTH? Just the year.
I think, is it not? I think it's 96, 95, 96, something like that. Yes, it should be 96, I see.
And for how long did you remain at RBTH this time around?
No, less than even 2 months. They just come and pack me back, pick me and take me back.
At this point, were you charged for any offense?
No, the time they took me to serious orders, I was referred to Army Commander. One fine day, before having that problem, I was taken to Army headquarters for orders. Me, Captain Kambi, I think Pastor Rajan Press, the former IG. Yes, I forgot the fourth person. Anyway, so when we went there, the Army commanders read our charge sheet. We said we are not guilty. He said, "Okay, I refer you to Quartermaster." I said, "Fine." Then we went back to Mile 2. Within that period, I have problem. That's the time they readmit me again. So there was no Quartermaster that took place.
At this point, did you have access to any lawyers?
No.
So what happened after you were discharged?
So I was there till one fine day. Before I was discharged, there was one raid at the Mile 2 prisons. It was a joint raid. That's how I was informed. Anyway, they said there is a joint raid because there are problems inside the main yard that they want to settle. So it was combined forces, this paramilitary, military, and the police. So when they came, during the raid, they were firing tear gas inside the main camp, the main yard. So, you know, the smoke is the air that brought it inside the confinement area. So people who have left, they just broke their cells and come out in the open. Me, I cannot break my door, so I was there. I inhaled too much of the gas. I fainted for 4 hours. I was lying down. During the raid, they happened to shot 2 inmates there. The late Lamindawa, who was executed among those 9 people, plus 1 Senegalese, Nyas. He was shot on the thigh too. So Lamin have this thing on the stomach. So one officer see me lying down, motionless. This man close to walk. Went to my mother and tell him that your son is dead. I stayed for almost 1 year without seeing any of my family before they leave me. So
This incident happened after you were discharged from the RVTH the second time,
yeah,
right?
the second time, yeah. You see, because by the time they come, just come and release all the soldiers there, the senior men, except me and one Lamin Bojang. So I was there. So that's the time this raid happened. So that happened to me. I fainted for 4 hours, so they come and inform my mom that I was dead. Later, I managed to smuggle 1 note and give it to 1 officer to bring it to my mother. So it was a problem. My brother was explaining to me. The time this man said, "It's your son who sent me to you." My mother just grabbed him. "You killed my son today, you are telling me it's my son who sent him." So it's the boys who check, look at the note and tell mom that yes, this is Alagie's writing. That's what made him to come. So,
After that incident and after your family received news that you were still alive,
yeah.
did they have access to you while you were in prison?
No. After my readmission, that reading, from that time up to the time of my release, there was no visitor for me, no provision, no nothing. I was just there.
You mentioned that you were never charged with any offense and
No.
you didn't have access to a lawyer.
No.
Were you still considered as an active member of the Gambian National Army then?
Well, to my observation, yes, because I was detained I had this problem in 1994, November. Excuse me. My salary was paid from November 1994 to 1996.
You were in mile 2 then. How did
Yeah.
you know that your salary was paid?
No, the time I was admitted, they used to pay my salary. And my second wife used to go and collect this from my bank and bring it to the hospital. So the time of my readmission, that's why I told you it's 1996. She went to the bank and there was no money sent to the bank. I forgot the exact month. So she came back and said, "Darling, these people, they don't send anything in your account." I said, "Okay, maybe they have stopped my salary from now." So that's how it was.
While you were in prison, did you receive any letter from the army suggesting that you were no longer part of the Gambia National Army?
Up to today, no.
For how long were you in mile 2?
4 good years, with the intervals of admitting and going to teaching. Yeah.
During that 4 years, you've already told us about 2 incidents where you were admitted at RVTH.
Yeah.
How many times were you at the hospital?
I'm not getting you. How many times?
During those 4 years,
Yes.
you've already mentioned 2 incidents wherein you were admitted at RVTH.
Yes.
During those 4 years, apart from those 2 incidents, were you admitted again at RVTH
No.
for
I
your
was not.
injuries?
I was not.
During the 4 years you were in mile 2, did this get any better?
No, it was still the same.
Did you sustain any other injuries as a result of being incarcerated in that condition?
Not actually, only the torture, mental torture, because somebody in that 1.50 m by 2.50 m alone, with all the problems that you are having, the food is not good, nobody cares about you.
Can you tell us what eventually led to your release?
Not to my knowledge. It was just one fine day, a day I will never forget. On the 1st of October, 1998, I was there in the morning. It's just God, Allah, who makes me to react that morning. I was very calm, because I wake up in the morning, the in-charge came, who was Thomas at the time. He was responsible of confinement. After 1 year plus, I don't see my family. I don't know, only the notes that I'm smuggling. Other than that, nobody comes to me. So, my father died in 1995. Up to today, I don't see that dead body. So, that only first, I just wake up in the morning, I called Thomas, he said, he come, I said, Thomas, sit down. I said, what have I done, Thomas? He said, locally, Magji, Luhel. I said, Thomas, this is serious. I'm here for how many years without seeing my family? I haven't done anything. What is the problem? He said, sir, definitely we are sorry about this condition. Me, if I see you, I always feel ashamed.
Can you please give us the first name of Thomas?
Thomas. I think he's the prison commissioner as of now, but I don't know if his first name. We used to call him Thomas.
His rank then?
The prison ranks, I think he was APO at that time. I don't know, I'm assistant superintendent, I don't know, assistant police, I forgot anyway. I don't know, I'm not familiar with the prison ranks, to be quite honest with you. Why they used to call him APO, I don't know, OPO Thomas. So, but he was in charge of confinement at the time. So when I tell him this, he said, now tell me, whom do you want to see? I said, my first wife is just at Banjul here, so you can tell her to come. He said, okay, give me their number. I just give him my wife's number. By the time we are having these landlines in my aunt's house, so I gave him the number. He put it inside his pocket. He said he will call Hadim, my wife. We went out. That's the last time we saw. Then until around 1:30, according to him, he was explaining. He said he was giving assignment, other assignment to do. So he was taking something out from his pocket. At the time he see the note, he said, hey, let me go and call this lady before it's late. So upon approaching the office, the DCP, Deputy Commissioner at the time, Jobate, tell him, Thomas, he said, yes, go and call Mr. Kebbeh. So that's the time he came to the confinement, because at that time, they don't close me during their break. When they open me in the morning, they leave me there till 5 o'clock. When they are going home, that's the time we go to bed. So he came and said, you are wanted at the office. I said, okay, no problem. He said, if at all you are going home, that's it. If not, definitely I forgot to call your wife, but I called her so that she can come tomorrow. I said, no problem, feel fine. Then upon approaching the main door of the office, Jobate was just coming out. He said, you are bringing this man, where is he? This man is going home. So that's the time I saw Baji, the former interior minister. He was at the police at the time. He was not appointed minister at the time. He was the one who came for my release.
Can you recall his first name?
I forgot his first name, to be quiet. What, Baji? I forgot his first name there, to be quite honest with you. It's Usman Baji, I think. Usman. Yeah. Usman Baji. So he came for my release. Then I was let out. Then we bought the police pickup that he came with up to the army headquarters. He handed me over to the army command.
Sir Kebbeh, can you please speak into the mic? Your voice is fading.
Sorry.
Thank you.
So I said, as Mr. Baji, who come and pick me, he came for my release. So we went to the army headquarters, me and him. So he handed me over to the army commander at that time, who was Samsudin Sar. So he told me that anyway, you are given amnesty by the head of state, total amnesty. He said that all your benefits will be paid to you. So we cracked some jokes there, give me some piece of advice, then tell me you can go home. When we are ready, we'll get back to you. I said, okay. That's how I went, meet the family. In my absence, I took a taxi from, how to call it again, Marina Parade to Gloucester, because I was completely lost. So even to recognize our compound was a problem. It's my brother's wife who saw me inside the car. He said, called my wife, said, your husband is inside the car. That's how they asked the driver to turn and come. So I stayed home. My mother came and took me to his place at Talinding because I was not that much well. I was on crutches still. Then 2 weeks after, I was called by Samsudin Sar, the army commander, to go and answer. So I went there. He said, the army has constraint. They cannot pay this money, so it's that. So that's how I went home. After, they give me certificate, which is very contradicting. The soldier that you detained, we said he was attempting to coup you. After 4 years of detention, you decided to give him military certificate, stating that that soldier voluntarily retired 1995. And I was detained up to 1998.
Do you have that certificate with you?
I have it with me. That's the military certificate they give me and the testimony.
Can you please show the commissioners the certificate? Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I'd like to exhibit the said certificate.
Request granted.
I'll provide the exhibit number later on. So we'll just have the commissioners look at it, then we'll provide it in the afternoon, the exhibit number, just to be sure of the number.
Fine, that's all right with us. Thank you.
While the commissioners are looking at the certificate, Mr. Chairman, may I proceed with the corrections for the witness, not to waste time? You said you went to the Army Commander's office, that's Samson and Sar,
Yes.
and then you were given this certificate.
Yes.
And what did he say the certificate was for?
Maybe if I want, according to what they said there, if anybody wants my service in the future, they can carry on, no problem.
Were you given any form of compensation or whatsoever, since they mentioned that they could not pay you your gratuities?
After this certificate they gave me, they asked me to go and correct my gratuity, that is the stated 5-6 years period that they said I'd voluntarily retired. So I went to the TRRC, they gave me $7,000, which was not even paid to me. It was sent to my bank. On the whole, that account wasn't closed the time they stopped my salary. So these people, they took their ledger fees out of it. I went home with $3,000 some few dollars.
After that, and after giving a certificate saying that you voluntarily resigned from the army, did you obtain a job, that is, after your release?
Yes, as an elderly somebody want to the breadwinner of my family, I cannot sit like that. I seated for just a little period simply because I was having serious pain on my leg, and the leg wasn't strong enough for me to lift the crutches, and I cannot walk with crutches. So after that period, I worked with seafood company, Life is Complex at the bridge there, as their chief security. So my boss there, who was a female white man by the name Anika, she even tried one time to assist me to go abroad for further treatment. But when they told her about the bill, he said he cannot foot the bill, or let her write to the army headquarters so that they can pay half, she will pay half for my treatment, but that doesn't work. We wrote to them, they don't respond. I went to the Human Rights Office. I met Emmanuel Juf, I think, who was the lawyer at the time there. I showed him all my documents. By that time, I was having everything with me. My pay slips, the time they stopped my salary, my certificates, the extras, and everything were intact at that time. So he told me, definitely, my brother, you have case against these people, but at this present moment, if you want to take these people to court, you are just wasting your time because they will not respond to you. And I agree with him because I went to the ombudsman, the office that they established, and nothing comes out of it. So if he told me that, then I know that what he's saying is true. So I have to give away everything. See, after I work with GPA, then now I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting at home now.
You had told us that you were married before your arrest.
Yes. With
How
three
many
wives.
kids did you have then?
I have 5 boys, 4 girls.
Had 9 children.
Yeah.
What was the impact of your detention on your family?
It was horrible. It was horrible because it's just like somebody who is on a seat, you just come and remove the seat away from him. You see, I was the breadwinner of my family, the first son of my mother, and my father too. So if I am taking away or not just cause from my family, obviously they are not going to be fine.
Mr. Chairman, that will be all from me for the witness. If the commissioners have questions for the witness, this will be a good time for it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Counsel, and thank you very much, Mr. Kebbeh, for your testimony.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Summer, do you have any questions? Bishop, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Alagie Kebbeh.
Yes, sir.
I'm so sorry for the ordeal that you went through during those past years.
Thank you.
It's pathetic. Now, from the doctors at the RVTH, did they give you any referral recommendation for the bullets to be extracted from your leg?
Yes, I was boarded at the RBTH. I had a medical board there, which they recommend that I should go for overseas treatment. The documents were with me. Unfortunately, there was an inferno in my house, so all those documents were born. So that's why I cannot produce them. But the records are still in the records office at the RVTH. If necessary, I can go and search for them, and I know I will get them. Even this military certificate, I just went to my former boss at the GPA and explained my problem to him that I'm coming to meet you guys, and my certificate was born. So he said, I go to the records office and try and get one. He's the one who gets this photocopy and bring it for me.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Jones, you have the floor.
Mr. Kebbeh, for the purpose of the committees within the commission, I'd just like to ask a few follow-up questions regarding your children.
No problem.
You had 9 children.
Yes.
Were all 9 children school-going children as at that time?
Yes, of course. Only the last one, which I named him after a friend of mine. We bear the same name, Alagie Kamara. He was the fish supplier of the army. So I named him after my last child, who was 6 months old the time I was having this problem.
Okay, your salary stopped 2 years into your detention in '96.
Yeah.
Were they able to continue going to school as at that time?
No, because when I was released, I met all my kids were sitting at home. None of them was going to school. Honest to Mohammed.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Deputy Chair, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Kebbeh.
Welcome.
I have 2 questions. One is family related, and the other one is in terms of your retirement.
Yeah.
The first one, when they told your mother that you had died, did your wives have to go into mourning?
No, not actually, because my mother did not even relay that message to my wife. Because let me tell you, this one is not that it's my mother, but he's a God faithful person. Even the time I was arrested, those Alagies, they don't know my whereabouts. My uncles came to the house. One of my uncles was staying at Banjulinding. He came and gathered the whole family and tell my mother that I learned that Kebbeh is killed. Because these people, anybody they place their hand on, they will kill you. So we want to make charity for Kebbeh. They called my mom from Talinding. She came. When they explained their story to her, he said, no, my son is not dead. He said, my uncle told her that either these people, anybody that fall in their hands, they will kill you. And there is somebody who came up to my house and told me that Kebbeh was killed in his front. My mother said, no. He said, Kebbeh is your nephew. They said, yes. He said, okay, you can prepare charity for Kebbeh, but me, I'm going home. That's how she left the house. That is what made them to postpone that charity. 3 days after, I was taken to hospital.
Thank you. We salute the courageous mother for taking such a stand. Now, this is in relation to your voluntary retirement. Voluntary retirement is normally instigated by the person who wants to retire.
Yes.
So how can the Army now give you a certificate of voluntary retirement when you did not ask for it?
Maybe It's their way of doing things. I don't know, because somebody who was detained up to 1998, you just give him certificate and said he retired 1995. I cannot understand that. I just hold it and read it like this and go home. Because at the time you cannot do anything. I've been to the ombudsman, office that was established by them. For anybody who has complaints against them or any other person to go and lodge it there, there was nothing that come out from it. I went to the Human Rights Office. I told you what this man told me, Alagie. So I just decided to hold my hands and leave everything in the hands of God.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kebbeh.
You're welcome, man.
Thank you. Imam Jallo, you have the floor, please.
Mr. Kebbeh,
Yes, sir, Imam.
you seem to suggest that there was mistaken identity in your case, and for which you have been punished for a long time. Did you, during this period, make any effort to extricate yourself, like by explaining to the authorities that you were, or to some other, particularly the authorities? Did you make any effort to clear yourself?
Imam, at the time, definitely I could not do anything about this, simply because everything was in their hands, and they make me to handicap. Especially Edward Singate. He is the one who shot me, and he was playing all these games to delay me, because I don't see the reason why they were releasing officers, leaving me behind. I wounded somebody. You see? So there was a time Dr. Jones came to my hospital bed and said, Mr. Kebbeh, I said, yes, I said, I don't put my mouth in people's problem, but I am asked to write about your leg. I said, you're welcome, sir. And later I understand that he wrote and sent it to the State House, to the authorities there. But unfortunately, at that time, Edward was the vice chairman. So I think that is what makes everything to be subsided. You will not want to see me outside with how I was, and he is the author of everything. This question of misidentity, I don't buy that, to be quite honest with you, because we are all soldiers, we know each other. What I can say is out of jealousy, out of wickedness, that's all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Imam C, you have the floor, please.
Alagie Kebbeh.
Wow,
Alagie
Imam.
Kebbeh. When you were alighted from the vehicle, who slapped you?
JCB Momambej.
I was slapped by JCB.
Thank you. There are no other. Oh, Commissioner Carr, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Commissioner Carr, I have two questions. The first is, were you allowed family visits in prison?
Yes. Initially I was, but after they stopped everything.
Thank you. The second question is, you said the condition of the food wasn't good. I'd like to have more explanation on that, please. Thanks.
Well, the previous people that testify here about Mile 2 have said it all. Mile 2, according to my understanding, prisons are rehabilitation centers, but not in the Gambia. Here is a dumping center, especially at the time. All those people there are Jolas. They all claim to be relative of Yahya Jammeh. The moment you enter there, they see you as an enemy to Yahya Jammeh. So not a single favor they will do it for you. It's only one person who was trying his best for us, who is Ablai Bojang. And I understand that that boy was more related to Yahya Jammeh than any other person there. To be quite honest with you, even during the time of Ramadan, that boy will venture to stay with us there up to 11 o'clock and then go home. But not like other people. We were tortured mentally, physically, everything. You cannot understand. You see, that place is not good. It's not good, to be quite honest with you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kebbeh. The ordeal you endured is quite extraordinary. Sorry about it, and we share your pain. At this point, do you have any concluding remarks to make? If you do, please proceed.
Okay, I just have a small thing. Good afternoon to everybody here, from Mr. Chairman to all here today. I thank the TRRC for the job well done, and I am sending my very sorrowful for the dead and the wounded people. And I am asking all Gambians to respect the rule of law. I thank you all. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of us. Amen. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much indeed, and thanks again for coming to testify before the Commission. Council, do we have a witness lined up for the afternoon?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we do, and we're ready to proceed at 2:30 today. Thank you.
Splendid. So the meeting would stand adjourned. We come back here at 2:30. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
diwli lanni maaro lanni
fop lanni
awa joni mi anda honno gerdeten e ngal ɗo sabu e ngal ɗo Ibrahima jonnal taw joni mi anda se yahay kapitiki ñawloɗen ha humpodire makko est ce que on noon e warude
waɗen noon awa
ane kore Ibrahima ma ko on to woni
mo Amérique
ko Amérique a woni kede humpitaki fiɓe musidɓe men balu o ɓe andanɗa kala ko wawɗa wonde e aduna o si a rewi e juuɗe maɓɓe a jonnay ɗo dépassement o Gambia hara no weeɓi a yahata kadi taw ko mbuɗi ɗi no ƴawi walla no jippi ɓe haalantama ko kala ko falɗa ko sengo ñamete ili nebba maaro basalle pomme de terre kala ko rewi ɗon a hendoto hara no weeɓi kadi wona ɗum ɗon tum ɓe jonnira e mobile phone siko ɗum kadi laptop kala ko wayrode ɗi hay kasbawa ɓe wawma jonnude kadi sa fala humpitade ko weeɓi ƴetti google account ma on joni data ton waɗa download app maɓɓe on ayiyay kala ko humpima e maɓɓe ton ɓe weeɓiyama
ka wonɗa wo e aduna on
kala ko wawɗa
a jonnanayi wonɗo ka leydi men Gambia ɗo dépense
hara no weeɓi ha ma si ɗum non fof no neeɓi immoɗen joni mi ɗowtama ka place maɓɓe jan
waɗen joni
yiya heɓa ko falaɗa
waɗen kisam
mbeten ale TRRC CDR kuma kan me yalon ko bi lungala karola wole bota mo follow me yalon ko wole sita commission nyatilen wala men keta couple Alagie Kebbeh sain kandirola karola drong ala CDR kuma kan to couple Alagie Kebbeh attendenta kaitandro ke kode kabirintu mala menna ya bung wodin krato dami yalon ko wole mo yundum barracks la guard room oti bundro me yalon ko keso nyim bota Edward Singatele la karola anu wo keso nyin anata ka buluba wuto nyinta ka so ka finte kata mara wuto kalo nyinto damendo yalon ko keso nyin nata marang ala mara singo nyene kono aytande ko de maro mi yalon ko kabirin sana sabale komandiro ke molla mi yalon ko wolem sojarolti mennu be la noskunda la karola wolu nata nan ya samba dinkrato dami yalon ko wolem ila clinique oti akoy ko ton ni buna jamata kaw soki sodi ala baramo nyin kono pour ka yelo nyinta ka mutano nata aytande ko de tilisaba wucho kono ay wole ke dinkrato dami yalon ko wolem yundum baraksi janning abe silo sotola pour ka samba dularo dami yalon ko wole mo Gambia banko la lortan bari membe banjul sate kono wato e kafo je ko RVH atendenda kaytande ko de kabiren ding wotili sabo wucho kono brabe yundum barracks han prastamol nyerebe to e modi ala sakora bori ko ten ako atarta wole nyamaje anim baladi mi ba dimo mi yalon ko alanda tambita ala karola ate Alagie Kebbeh tendenda fanan kaytande ko de ako kabiren tumala menna atata o dinkrato dami yalon ko wole mu banjul law loptan banyinde ako iman silo yele pour ala dimbaya wolsina ajube no nyamenna ako bayren ala muso fang wonene nata nun jele yew murundi bayren sojaro lel ba kanda kannun e beni la kidolu o wato menna ya sambo loptano nyinto bukala fe moy suti ala sako mo saje anata itandiro ke ko lundo sojar dobi je o bakantarola par wonata ke moti mi yalon ko ngani senata bake wotata muske baje banda me nyin karo ke ko abela flakare ala kebeje ako wolen nata ke atefon wulu bati ako sojaro nata silo bula abama nata ka jube dinkrato dami yalon ko wolem banjul law loptan banyindi atendenda fanan ka senkan roke ko de dinkrami yalon ko abeje memu banjul loptan bati wo wucho nyin kono ako sojar bukanna me yalon ko wala ka suti yala sako safo ko pour kana jube ako bayre wo wato wol be kata dewndin momorandi nada atela ko lata nyoka o mare fanan se bulano kata nyin kono o dalilo kamala ako de lundo la sotota mo Edward momi yalon ko wala mu sana sabalti ko ila convoyo memo ila motolti katani menula accident sotote kono anu ala odedi dobije ka me ko Albert fo Gomes le ma kontonti akode wo keta modi me alon ko yana fe o dinkrato memo lo tanoti ako anara Peter Singata je ako abe o la rawon nyinkan tumal amena aya bulo wulinde pour ka Peter kondon so dere ala karola ako dun nyajube sanjola yiri ko tanin Peter tema anim fanan kadun so jari amaka mo kono ate Peter Singata abaye santola dula jama atendenda kaytande ko de Peter nara kuma kan bonda da kono ko ite fon mantale bente bari mal labang walantina ako Peter o kuma kan fate ako bari ate fana manna jabirke ay dey wala nyama atendenda kaytandro ke ko de me yalon ko wole be dending kuma kan walla me yalon ko wollel nata soto ako inara samba ka bondi dinkrato da me yalon ko wole mo banjul loptan bati ya murundi koteke kada sojarol la clinique ko damento yalon ko wala yundum barakse ako kabirata raje inara fa ko nyanda tala mo nyatilingula me yalon ko wala be marlinu sojar kampola yundum baraksa ako dum alawot tanyin RSM babu me yalon ko wala mu Bawkar Sanyanti ani Vincent Diata wato wala moti membe marle yundum kamponyina ako anata taje ani yeddi amo soto ko de ate molti me alon ko ya tumi ko adabulata ko kono memo wokude tate no November 11 ate fanan nara ko indiro kema obe keno la nyaadile ako don kuma kam me alon ko o man kontano siela karola waya nieku ya bake wala ko de me alon ko wala boda RSM Bawkar Sanyan na karola ako ni ajube fenne man soto tafawala karola me alon ko anim moya kacha kudeta kuto amambo yin kudeta la fenne kalama ate anata je ko ya tumi kaitan ro kala ako don RSM Bawkar Sanyan nang ate ya itandala Vincent Nyatilunga ko ite molti me alonko kabirin jita do kola na boss lieutenant Dabo wala konsite ya kuma kan me yalon ko ya soto pour ka dinna ñu biringe ñinin ka ya itanin na ko kuma te bulu ibe men dilana akay ko ko lala nte man na fe o ferendi na kalamuda me yalon ka akita ke barati membe den ñin ko la akay sa be soto no nyaadile ibe tumiro lalan kan ko nte molti me yalon ko ndel tata ngoy ko ten nseta ten ara ko abe mal la fen kan me yalon ko anin tonya tata nyola atendenda wole nyama fanan kayitan droke kode tumala menna ya samba wodin kra nyinto sojarol nata noma kabira findita o office nyin kono anim vince jadla kacha bari ya fa ne kode afita ami commandale ya wala be ko nyin kuntula ako a findita dron sojarol ya bennun kayitan dala kode ave tembo mento e kibaro soto membo tanan santola ko e nyanda sambala dinkrato dame alon ko wala gambia banko la banta jahannabodi e ka fo dame mile 2 ako ya samba wodin kra nyinto memu guard room oti etare ya sindi je ya abatundir pour moto la karola na pareta akoy nata wole nyama ya shika ya bulandi moto kono ya samba dulato dami alon ko wolem banjul shato o kasi jawo membeje e ka fo dame ko gambia banta jahannaba dol ka fay mile 2 atendenda kaitande ko de kabira futa daw mile 2 nyinin kar man tambe anim motema ya samba dinkramento wolen security win number 2 anu selo mi alon ko ya dundi wala ko wala keda sel number 2 ako kabira futa da jefan monara nyinin ka ko atelem jumati ako ay kan shute wakata captain kambilete ako ay tandala ko de atelem kopul alaji kebe ako kay ko fan ngamo ko kido yebu nun kidola say muneta sijang ako ay tandala ko nyimol wolde ye ñunna wala ñama nan ye nafe nan jang ako anata taraw al halo ñama ako bari momi yalon ko wala nata fondin sia la karola kallo ay kaje ko ka de ma lati ka topotoro kay al hala jamala mi yalon ko wala be denni ngala kola ako keta num mafuji sonkoti ako mafuji sonkode adem molti mi yalon ko wato wade nim finto wato sita so mandala karola mafuji kanala kala kerawol samba ala finti banda kerawol nying memu temba poti ko samba kada ka be kuwa sena anem fanan ka jelta ka sodi ala bidon kono me alon ko wala ka tarafe selo kono ako mafude ay lod la kende balta ala karola anu wonata fan ka adde maro si ala karola fo wati nata soto anara ke modi me alon ko ala al halolu fishata domanin atendenda fanan ka sayin kandro ke kode ni ajube kol men yalon ko wollel be dending wo dinkrala damento yalon ko wole mo mail tuti gambia la banta jahannabo membe banjul sato la datudula mafola aytande ko de je modulalti dame yalon ko lundo chocho nene soto tanu ate me yalon ko sintangol madi baraka tamanin dokolela ako anata boy dinkra dame yalon ko wala mo alo kasolo dinkra nyinde ako alo boyo fang anata ketu ako mondro wadi nani nyon ayo ko dinkrato le avec ketu nga be laring ako fan sojar dole ya jenu wonata ta kibaro sinda bamama komen ko ate fatale ako dum nata ko wajabe ne bake ala dimba ala karola atendenda fanan ka 50 doke ala bo nyin kola kay na sojarol nata feroke pour ka kumandro keno de mar bulomina eno nyaadile pour ka samba dinkrato dame an ko wolem banjul loptan bati ako bari wo kuma kan katata nyawnyang o manna keno fendi men sone ata wolungola bari yem kuma kam me murundi nan wala nyente ko juralole be ke kan 22 July la karola o to dalilo kamala sojar kilinti nano me alon ko wala be demaro fannala memu sojarol la nosi bunda nyente atendenda fanan kaytande ko de atarraw al halo nyine nyama ako asamola inata ka ambulance o kinan inara samba dinkra dama ko wolem gambia la loptan badi memu wato e ka fa Royal Victoria Hospital ako ya sambo dinkra nyindo ako barka bra futa je docteur o do bije jaman docteur olti e ka fa ko Dr. Martins ako kabiri wayal al haloje bari o wato la abuka tamano wodu yaytandile ko o ko sotno nyadile ako wonata samaniro ke ko sojar kunda moli na ye sankandro ke kuma kawla me alon ko wala keta daliloti me antina te buka tamano bari wado men ne babula lanu wodin krado dami alon ko wala banjul leptan bari wado aka tama nin dokola sanda buka ta no dulado ako kuma kawol na ra sele nyokan wonata ke fendi me alon ko wonata ku jama ko le andi ako bari mo nata sularo ka fanna men keta denis ko kati wonata dinkrado dami alon ko wala mu loptano nyindi anata fo Dr. Martin si ko nyimu molti me alon ko mbadi ngol nyindi nyimu mbadi ngolti nkoto malo nyindi anu fana tele moti me alon ko ayentela jorangol bedada la rangol na nyongolu me yalon ko wala bentela bunkono kada sirangolu ako ayatan dala ko de mbe damen to science ante nying amanke ko men do ku nyode badi ya wala ben ni tema ako Dennis Koka anata 50 ke Dr. Martin si ko be ma ko la ala halo ni sulo kama bar mol men yalon ko eta ko na pour kana ko forlondi jang pour se 50 ke men kada sababoti atala nyin kole a soto fo men na bukata mano akay ko wol nenete fan sulala pour kana dan ko itama jang kana ko senandi ate nenda kaytandi ko de o kolale nganata topoto rosoto mi alon ko wole boda Dr. Martins bulu ako fang baramo nyin nata ferol ke pour ka baramo nyin jara ako bari hello nata soto mi alon ko molmen yalon wolle bat ma ko kanu woye lola mutola fanna nyinna mennu be dinkrato dami yalon ko wole yundum balaksi wol man na 50 ke docteur o ko kotondol ye wolle nyuka konoto ako kotondol men yalon ko tarta nun konoto wol nata o baramo nyin wuraw lumena pour ko koton dol findinde ako lungo dimosifa ama wala tambita fan kabre lumena ya bunun kesola tendenda kaytande ko de kul men yalon ko wolel tamata akode wakata fennete me yalon ko tumala men na abe dinkirato damen to yalon ko wala keta wo loptano nyinti akode mile 2 kono inata murundi je ka samba je ako anata muru kote ke fanan dinkrato dami yalon ko wolen banjul law loptan ba nyinti ako ay sinya fula nyonke je bar alaw silo nyin ako ay kar fula nyonke je le danning abe bolaje kada dinkrato dami yalon ko wolen mile 2 anata tenden kaytande ko fan aya kamuna fannun ko do dola mi alon ko ala musu wala kata wota ning ala bank account o nyinna me ako ala musu fulanjang wala kata wota no ako dum wo ko do nyin 1996 kono o ko do nyin nada kuntu puti bara ala musu ta bank le ay tande ko de e kay ko kodi kilim mambonan amila kunda baro memula headquarters ti pour ka akina wo account o nyinto atenden da fanan ka 50 doge kuma kan wala ko de kabrabe se lo nyin kono ako nunje ako momi yalon ko fan o fanan be mol kono mem marata nyin kasto molla ako Tomos wode waketa mode me yalon ko ako lundo anada fo Tomos yoko enal halo be tambo mento na dimbalu ni buka nyojeno e buka nan kumpa bono ako Tomos na da itandala ko de abela fla prase anin juma si nyoka chanwa ako anata fa ko ala muso anata ala muso nomba diala ako Tomos na data ako bari montro wati jama nyato Tomos nara murakan nan anara kumande kaitan dala kode kuma kan bodanan santola kabo mobulu me alon ko o wato nyinna de atamu molti me alon ko atebe deputy wala mo normalan ka yala kasoto polisol men yalan ko wala kantar laldi kasola o kantar lalu ela deputy commissioner ako jobate nyin way kuma kan nyin di mola mi yala wala to mosti pour asnata kumandi ako kaberin to mosnata aytan dala ko de yabula nun al halo do ko dolle onata nyinandi barala muso kumandi le ko samade pour muso nyin sina kana kumpa bo ako kabiro fay ako ana afindita wala nyama drong enen jobade benda ako jobade ko tomosie ko nyimu molti me alon ko abe sayla katela suwo kono o dalilo kamala la fengol be kafu nyoma ako kabire tata anara moje o dinkrado ndami alon ko presin la kantar bunda ba la nyadon ko be damendo ako anara moje me alon ko wala keta Usman Bajiti anu wo wato ko Usman Baji atemu mote me alon ko anata o dinkra nyinto akam dala bulola sababo nyin wonara ko nyine topoto ako en Usman Baji nada samba dinkrato dami an ko wolen army headquarters ti kabire futata je wado momen be nyaton ko ala je wala kata Samsidin starti ako nada sanka ko ye kumo kan soto memboda nan ciamano bulu ko ayam fata ne buray yam fo mi alon ko buray lemu o yam fo nyin kono ka bonni kasola ako nada ka kuma kan dol fay ye jelo kacal soto je damento alon ko wonata yamarol diala ako nada sandi wona nyama katala sukono ako bar Samsidin sari ay tandalal ko wolu lalade sojar kunda bala fengo be tola me alon ko lebe muna fonla na ko do nyin na karola ako ana nada fay ko asita nyaton to e ba kalam tandila ako atarta wole nyama kabra sta sukono abeje lundo ya kumandi ako bara kabra tara ami het ko das Samsidin jar sar kay ko sojar kunda de wolte joro kenola ala al halola fengo me yalon ko lebe na fulola karola ko aya fonu ay komando nyamena atendenda fanan kaitande ko de inada certificate do diala me alon ko comme mo fango ay kiliroke nin kula me alon ko wolen daha nyindi wolen ke fonyo service nyina karola ako inada o certificate do diala ako ya kuduma fi mbake wakada jakal bati bari o certificate o bala 1995 le bo saferenje ano atedi ya soronne fo 1998 kabri ya dem mutanu 1994 November 11 o kola ako dalilo kamala wo yo certificate o inta ka diala anada tendem fanan kale halol sen kan ko de wo certificate o nyin kola tabiren tumala menna atenata ta ako ay nomaro ke kola pour ka je ko sembo be soto no la nyaadile men santinna lo no ala kuul makato sibay ako baro wato man sakunda membe mar lola ila kuulu al halo maman dia nyin kam malako e katra sabirin kaje ko de fe o fereni nasara ko wala mul to la finna kote nimmel lafta kaw ke bulu ke balote don ye fe o fereni no la karola e kawol tamandi ako anata ta dinkralto damento yalon ko mennu boko Human Rights Office kata ombudsman la office olto dinkra kotonglu damento alon ka jikita ko wol sem makato bayno ala koto wara sikutu te no jele ako fang anata da do ko la dinkra to dami alon ko biran asingo sumata demanding wala seafood company doti damento alon ko tankar la karola memu security ata keda no nyaron koti ako fang ay boss do so je tuba musolti ka fay anika ako de wona rakade maro nyin fang wat sotota wala ftanum prasta bantal banko kan jarrolol bar kabir wo kiskisiro ke enara kodo memfo na flol dapans ro wona raitan dala kode atete be jonola nara ko astalante o jo sojar kunda fana astalante o jo ako ani ga tubabo nyin memunu ala bosti wana da kaito safe kaki sojar kunda banyindo ako bari mo jabir man nanan me alon ko wolbe kala al haloti sojarolu ela kunda ba ye men sodo ko nyin na karola ako atendenda wala nyama nya jube akeda molti me alon ko ako bada soto dal dimbala karola adingo dol fon beje karola karola dingolu wana ra ke lanjur badi bari atel munum moti me alon ko akeda fama na bama bela dinke ke badi anum fanan dimbala dapanso ni balwo Kenya atelbe marlin nu wala kabri o sorondiro kala wonen ala karfajo la na kunto wona rangay be bawul way wo keta kudi mi alon ko a 5 ans commission nyatlola ay tande fanan ko de din ko non ay wala soto ako kambani lulu ani sunkudu din nani ala ya harge wala atendenda fanan ka nyin karol soto mi alon ko abora commissional bulu meno be siring wo saliba nyin kono momen folo me nyin karo ke wala keda commissional dikoti akay ko fo e kaytile soto bang membe dendi la jaralo nyin kenyala ko kayto safeta nyanta jarala bantal banko kan akay ko ha anga kayto soto le mi alon ko wala be dendi na jaralo la al halola bari anara ke fendi mi alon ko dimbane ne bota ya wo kayto mala bari lata le ko de nimentara army headquarters memu sojaro la kunda bade nyin kayto nyanta tarla jele me yalon ko yo sifal dinna membe dending wo foñondingo me yalon ko ya foko nda fongole kerkere foño nyin kanin so jariya nyin kono memu voluntary retirement tenden da fanan kanyin karo soro me alon ka bora commissioner Jones bulu o kay ko de wado men ne tebe selo kono fo la dinu la karola la karam kunya wona ra to ke nyaadile akay ko de dinu la karam na ta lole bari men nyanda kallo wol mun telti e kaaje ko la karam ko se topotono ndena ta o al halol kono o dalilo kamala e momen buka fon la makat bayno o buka wanita sambano dulado akay ko dinu la karam na ta la njuro soro wala kono mo ko dem yalon ko anyin karo ke o ke da commissioner jallolti wa itandala ko de e jakasro sotota ela ko al haloto bari itandro kamala ko me yalon ko wala mo couple kebeti anu ya itande ko couple kebe sabale be kerin ay jabiro di wala ko ko commissioner jallo ko de ndase men fono wala jakasir man soto nyinto tumir kelsa wala keta anen fana molle lota don ye fala mirota ka noma pour kante muda kan hasidia ka kolea nim batata ka lankan me alon ko ntelata wala bar nim moko ko jagasir keta bari manke mori me alon ko na al halo ninna manya nim mankudo o nyanda jagas la mobul sojaria wucho kono o wato nyinna ayo kuma ko jabe comme sona kay nyin karo kala fo molel soto tabang men yalon ko ala dimba kono enena kana ajube bang wado men na atebo al halo nyin kono gambia la banta jahannawa memu mal tude akay ko de wat soto ta ko follow lado jubero ka soto bar wobe nata kuntule pat amanke fendi me alon ko anata tenten ko reke atenten dawla anata fanan pour ka ala kuma kal labon kabren tumala men nasiran tio lamin jesise aya fay ko de pour ase kuma kal labon fo me alon ko wala baate bulu ya mar la karola bang waranta men soto TRRC commission ni nyatlon la ala kalima labon to me alon ko abe wala karan kannun ate couple Kebbeh aytande ko de ate molti mealon ko abe Gambia banko dingol be ya marla ko de ise luata ya horma ya bunya adim fana lua aske fendi mealon ko wado wadi ise la hormonin bunya tilingala ise aje ko be ko kurundin kela ila ke baro nim fokmoro ane lua sita nyola ako ate wala soda sambala rodi abe mendi la Gambia banko dingol bela o ko la tentro ni jay roke TRRC commission nyina badingolo wala keta CDRO la dandulati mealon ko bilu wala karola sedo follow me alon ko wala nada TRRC a couple Alagie Kebbeh ay kalmol menu dante TRRC hani bi drone nim fonyon dim ba botala drone minala talale ka sede fula nyang soto me alon ko bilu wala o fanam ba sede ar ko dila ka ka fo TRRC la do ko wala elen korda ba damentu alon ko wala duns hotel ti ko du sata ko ala baraka ba ke mbal tentu la mbal jayla foni murtale nan ko ke siela wuce labango me alon ko mo fula nyango membe kala biti lola sedote talata lungola alna albadi malem lamin AFFS dabo alman tankala katal nin karatola alma jamano sumala alman sola labanyi nyala wassalam.
Nijaay saako maalo bi jeex na te diwlin bi jeex na dama am pour dem marché.
ah Pape dégg nga li ndaw si wax de léegi nag dimbali ma rek nga lebal ma benn bidon ngi diwlin ak benn saaku maalo soo ci mënee boole soble sax nga boole ko ci sama doom Lamine su yónnee xaalis bi rek ma fay la sa xaalis.
non boutique bi diwlin ma mënuma la ko lebal parce que doo ma dee fay on time loolu moo tax mënuma laa lebal.
daal yow sa doom bi fan la nekk
sama doom mu ngi Angleterre.
Angleterre daal xanaa yoo yëguloo ba lu service ku ko am fu waay mun a nekk si àdduna bi mën na laa yónnee ndugg si nu gaaw te amul benn jafe-jafe amul ne réew bi dafa po te xoolal soble diwlin maalo pompiteer ak li ñu mel sooy yegg baluwo.com di nga ko am gis nga ku bëgg a jëfandikoo baluwo service bi dugal sa Play Store nga type baluwo.com downloadal app bi nga jëfandikoo ko ci nu mu gën a gaawee